Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing. Is my life being picked up? I don't know. Testing 1 2 1 2. Hopefully. There's something here. Test. I'm gonna hear this Wii Shop music. I'm going to check this display. If I can do that. Check the display. Un secondo. Check this. That's fine, right? Oh my god, look at the way I spelled test. I typoed test. I typoed it. Where's the link? Oh, listen back to the stream. Wait, can I be heard now? I feel like this isn't loud enough, right? I don't know, I'm gonna have to go through these audio settings properly one day. Is it the global settings? Speakers Yeti. Is that it? Well, microphone's low, right? I don't know. Oh, it's not low. Okay. Hello? Hi, Genki, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hi.
Oh yeah, I can hear.
Ah, cool, cool. I'm just like setting this up. 1 second.
Okay, cool.
How does my audio sound? Can you hear?
Sounds good.
You can hear me okay, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And have this. I'll turn that down a bit. I put the show. It's gone live now, and I was just trying to see this audio, see if it was seeing how it sounds. I can't hear myself. Test 1 2. Still sounds low on there to me. Let's see if we can get some people in. I tweeted out that we're live. Could you also please send a tweet out, or you can retweet my tweet. I have a number of
Okay.
oh yeah, so basically I have today I have like I'm gonna obviously display different stuff on the screen. I've got some like news articles and stuff. I've put low latency on the stream, so hopefully there shouldn't be too much of a delay, and you can follow along on the on the actual live stream, so you can see what I'm talking about. There's just a few different articles and stuff that I've been prepping. I've been prepping for the past hour, and yeah, I have them all. Ready. Is that linked up? Let me just quickly check is it displaying that? It's been kind of slow, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can hear the delay is much less than usual.
Yeah, there's like a normal one, then there's like low latency, and there's like an ultra low latency. I haven't put that one on, but like I feel like the normal low latency would be okay.
Yeah, I think the delay is like 10 seconds or something now.
10 seconds. Oh wow, it must have been a lot longer before.
So before it was like 20 or 30.
Oh really? Wow.
Maybe less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, it's like 10 seconds.
10 seconds, okay. Maybe I'll try the ultra low one next time. Fortunately, you can't change once you started the stream. Like, you can't change it. But yeah, I'll try it next time. So yeah, there's like a few different topics that we can get into. We're still going to talk about our stuff. I really do want to talk about Matsuda resigning, because I think that's pretty big news.
Okay, yeah, cool.
And
I have to leave at around 12, I think, because I have to wake up early tomorrow.
No problem. So 12. Okay,
so
like you mean
2
like
hours.
2 hours from now?
Yeah.
2 hours from now. No problem. And so I just have different articles and things I'm going to put on the screen. Just a couple of different articles. And do I have the link for the one about him resigning? I have just like the Famitsu one. There's probably like a translated one in Gematsu or something, but I don't have that one. So I'm just gonna use the Famitsu one with like Google Translate or whatever. I don't know if there's probably another site that's probably translated it right, but I don't have that in front of me. Okay, is anyone actually here? Is it just you and me? hello. If there's people watching, can you type in the chat and we'll get started in just like two.
Yeah, it says 4 people watching.
4 people. Are they watching? Are they watching Genki? Are they actually watching us? How do you see who's in the chat? I have no idea how to do that.
Vinny Mac left a comment. Yeah.
Oh, Vinny Mac. Hi, Vinny Mac. All right, so there's one person here. Let's start. If there's one person, that means we can start. Okay, so change. Vinny Mac, could you let us know if the audio is okay? If we're loud enough, I'm gonna turn off that music in a sec. If anything needs adjusting, please let me know. So I'm concerned that I'm sounding like it's coming out really, really low on the stream. I don't know if it's just me. Hi Rigo Romero, J2 Blue Engage, welcome. Okay, well we can start. Everyone's here. Oh, that sounds fine.
Oh, yeah, it sounds good. They said.
Okay, thank you for letting me know.
It sounds okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do this week is I thought about putting the chat on the TV behind me, but I'll just keep turning around. So I've just got the chat on my phone, right? So that's what I'm gonna do now. Like I'm gonna be looking at the chat on my phone. So hopefully that will work out. Okay, let's get started right now. Right now. See this. Hello. Welcome everyone to another show and welcome to Genki. Genki, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good, thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Completely unrelated, but I literally just got I left her through the door saying that they're putting up my rent by like £40 a week. So not happy about that. Okay. And they've put up all the service charges because I live in a big tower block, right? So they've put up all the service charges and everything. So that's great. I can't figure that nonsense out. But apart from that, I am fine. Oh, and my radiator's broken. But apart from that, I'm fine. That's the only thing. Yeah, the radiator, the thermostat's broken. I can't turn it off. So I'm going to have to try and sort that out after we finish today. But yeah, let's get started straight away. And we have Vinny Mac here, Rigo Romero, J2 Blue Engage. Welcome today. We're going to start with the Famitsu sales. We do have like some breaking news that happened. We're also going to talk about the Final Fantasy 16 previews, and we can get into a little bit of that kind of controversy about the term JRPG and stuff like that. It'd be really good to hear your perspective, Genki. Even though I know you're not a developer, but it would be good to hear. It would be really good to hear your perspective. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, Genki, I wanted to ask you about what you saw of Octopath Traveler 2 marketing in Japan, and also like your visits inside the stores, because remember we were going to talk about that before, your visits inside the game stores, your recent visits, but I completely forgot to answer you last week. So we didn't get around to it. I completely forgot about that. So yeah, it'd be good to talk about that. So we're going to go through this part quickly so we can get on to that and get it all wrapped up under 2 hours. So I'm going to
sounds good.
Lower down the goated music, as J2 Blue Engage says, the goated Wii Shop music. There we go. And we're going to start off with the weekly Famitsu sales. I'm going to enlarge, or enhance. That's what I should say. Enhance. Did you ever watch CSI and all those shows? So we had a few games launching this week, Genki. Or what I mean is launched last week and then like they're tried now. So good results and bad results, I think. So I'm going to go through like the top 10 and then all the new releases. We'll get into a little bit more, and then we'll also get into the hardware sales and have a little discussion about that. So yeah, hopefully everyone can see this on the screen and it is big enough. I think is that the biggest I can make it? Huge, because I know it comes up small for some reason. Okay. So at number 1, we had Kirby. I think I call it it's Kirby Wii Deluxe in Japan, right? Hoshino Kirby. That's what they call it in Japan. I don't know why it's just Kirby in the West, but that's just what it is. But yeah, this is what's the Western name? It's Return to Dreamland, right? Hang on, can I change this?
Yeah, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. How do I where's the translate thing gone? Oh, here it is. Here it is. No, that's not what I wanted. I don't want that. I don't want that. Well, whatever. It's in Japanese. So just have to deal with it. Right. At number 1, we had Kirby Return to Dreamland, which sold 189,000. Now, the original Wii release, I think I made a note of it, that what it was. The original Wii release, did I? What? It sold like 50k more than the original Wii release. I'm pretty sure. Where did I put the thing? Sorry, 1 second. I did have all this ready. Oh, here. So yeah, it's actually not 50k higher than the original Wii release, which obviously back then digital wouldn't really have been like a factor much really, and then digital on the deluxe version now is likely pretty high because it's in the voucher program, and basically because of that voucher program it makes everything trend high, which means Kirby Return to Dreamland had a really good result. Was you expecting that, Genki? Are you a Kirby fan?
Oh yeah, since what was it Kirby in the Forgotten Land?
Forgotten Land, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. So since then I got back into Kirby's, and yeah, I'm a fan now. But yeah, I haven't picked up this one, but I plan to pick it up later because it does look really cool. Yeah, I think it did well, and it shows like Kirby's gotten more popular in Japan recently.
Yeah.
So I mean, like they're selling quite good, especially since Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Yeah, and this game, Return to Dreamland, it has local multiplayer, so you can play this one with your kids. Apparently you can't. It's not online. I think it's just local, but you can play it together because I think the Wii original had it as well, but they didn't add online. I don't know why, but yeah, I have noticed this Kirby seems to have gotten more popular, and I really did like the what's it called? Not us. God, I'm sorry. You just said the name. Forgotten Land. Yeah, I really did like that one. So that's cool. Next up we have a game that didn't do. I'm really unfortunate that this did not do well. In comparison to the first release, and we're gonna get into that, right? So Octopath Traveler 2 launched and sold hang on, what was the total? 50. Genki, can you add this up? Are you good at mental arithmetic? 54,000.
I think it was like 75 altogether, something like that.
Including PS4?
Yeah.
Around 75,000. Oh man, that sucks. Is that
plus, it's like 21 on PlayStation or something, and then plus so around 75.
Oh man, that sucks. Okay, so the reason that sucks, that it's so low, so the first game sold, so I put it's above my prediction. I said the most it could probably sell would be 78,000. It'd be below that because of the threshold. At the time we only had the top 10 when I wrote this tweet. right? So obviously we've got the full top 30 now. I'll make it a bit bigger so you can read it. Now the thing is, even though there's a 5-year gap between the first game and the second game, the first game sold 109,000, by the way. What you have to bear in mind, when people probably forgotten this, right? When Octopath Traveler 1 released, it was extremely supply constrained. Like, it completely sold out, and Square Enix had to apologize. Look, I have an article here from The Gamer from 2018, and not only that, they restocked it, and then it sold out again in 3 hours. This actually happened in 2018. Is that? Can you read that? Square Enix apologizes again after Octopath Traveler restock sells out in 3 hours. And they apologized again. So this actually happened. And for that reason, Octopath Traveler 1 had extremely high digital because people were trying to get this game. So yeah, it sold out twice. Square Enix apologized for it. They issued a super... What was it? They issued a super unhelpful tweet. I want to see what that is. What was the tweet? Okay, this is in Japanese. Let's translate. Genki, read this tweet. Look at what they put. They told people to get the download version. They literally told people to get the digital version in this tweet. I'll read the Google Translate.
That's funny.
It's funny, man.
よしければダウンロード版もライブだけば Oh yeah. If possible, yeah, please.
Get the downloads.
Consider the download version. Yeah.
This tweet, they said if they're right, this tweet is unhelpful. The Google Translate says, we apologise for the continuing shortage of stocks. We'll do our best to produce and ship so that we can deliver a sufficient number. The number of recent shipments is expected to be colossal. I'm very sorry to keep you waiting. If you don't mind, please consider the download version, right? So this is what happened in 2018. This game sold out completely, like to the point that they apologised 2 times and told people to get the download version. So that is why Octopath Traveler, there's no way Octopath Traveler 2 has as high digital as what the first one did because of what happened in 2018. Not only that, in 2019, the voucher program was introduced and Octopath Traveler was added to it. So even though it wasn't published by Nintendo in Japan, I think any game that's in this voucher program if it's in any region, it can be in the published by Nintendo in any region, it's eligible for this voucher program, right? So that's the eligibility, which means it was in the voucher program from 2019, and it was like a year or something. I can't remember how long it was in there for. So a lot of the sales, so it sold 1 million quickly within the first year, and then a lot more of the sales, it continued to sell into 2019 and 2020, and that's where another of like the 2 million of the sales came from. So it didn't even all happen at launch. It just happened over time with the first game. So with this second game, it has underperformed, even though it's on more platforms. Now you'd think, logically, if you put a game on more platforms, it's going to perform better. But there's other factors to consider, like the marketing, which unfortunately, because it's Square Enix doing the worldwide marketing this time around, it's like much, it's not as good as what happened the first time round, where we had Octopath Traveler. It was shown in the Nintendo. The Nintendo Switch presentation when they kind of did the full reveal of that. It was in like 2 directs, E3, Treehouse. It had 2 demos and just like continuous promotion, and obviously all those directs and everything was shown in Japan. And like I said to people before, like the internet exists. Like it's not the 1990s anymore. So if something's happening like the Treehouse thing, which obviously was done in English, it's going to get reported on in Japan. People are aware of that. So yeah, and I want to go into Octopath Traveler a bit more afterwards, Genki, because I think that what we're seeing here, with how it performed, I think it's been repeated worldwide. I don't think this has just only happened in Japan. So if we can see the sell-through, now the sell-through was not great on the Switch version. We can see the PlayStation 5 version sell-through is much better. The PlayStation 5 version 14.4 thousand. So part of the reason for that is that basically, like, retailers are just not ordering as many PS5 physical copies of games because they didn't have a lot of confidence where they haven't sold well, so they just didn't order as many. And then PS4, again, we see the same thing as with Switch, with a green bar. So that's Octopath Traveler. I'm pretty bummed out about that one, to be honest with you. I really thought it was going to do well, and I think Square Enix wanted to. The first game massively overperformed, sold 3 million. Like about 2.5 million of that was on Switch alone. Like most of it was on Switch. It did okay on PC. Not that great, but yeah. So I think Square Enix is probably thinking, well, the first game sold 3 million. We do the second game on more platforms, it will sell more than that, like 4 million. I think they wanted this to sell like 4 million. Unfortunately, it's not gonna happen. It's gonna get over 1 million. It might even get to 2. It's not gonna be able to get to 3. Like the legs are not great. So yeah. Right, so we got another new release. So this is Like a Dragon Ishin, and this was on the PlayStation 4 and 5. We actually have them both here right next to each other. So number 3, PlayStation 4, Like a Dragon Ishin, and that sold 35.8 thousand basically, with a decent sell-through. And the PS5 version sold 31.4 thousand with a decent sell-through. Now, as I tweeted out, Genki, which is a total of like 60, what was it, 60 something thousand, right? I'm gonna put this so you're getting spoilers of what I was going to tweet. I thought this was decent. 67,000. The reason why I thought this was decent was because this game was a re-release in Japan. In the rest of the world, it's like a brand new game, right? Because it wasn't released outside Japan. But in Japan, this is a new game. And basically what I read, they wasn't even originally going to do the re-release in Japan. They was only going to do it internationally. Then I think for some reason they changed their minds and they decided to do it in Japan as well. So, although the original release of this, Like a Dragon Ishin, sold 215,000 on PS3 and 4 combined. So that was also a cross-gen game. Which is obviously a lot more than what's sold now. When you add digital to the re-release now, it could be pushing towards 100k. So the reason it's not like fantastic, it's not like huge result, but I felt like it's just like pocket money for Sega because they put like no effort into this. It's just like, oh, well, let's release it in that region as well. Here's a little bit of extra money. I don't know how you thought about that, Genki. That's what I thought, basically.
Oh, I think they upgraded the graphics a lot.
Oh no! Sorry, they upgraded the graphics. Yeah. I'm not saying they didn't do anything to the game. What I mean is, like, in order to re-release it in Japan, it's just the same game that they're releasing in the West, basically. That's what I mean by that. They didn't have to do anything extra because they wasn't going to release it in Japan. They wasn't going to re-release it in Japan. Then they changed their mind, and because they changed their mind, they've got extra money for doing not that much.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, I guess it's a good, not too bad result for them, since considering, it's like a re-release or it's like a remaster. So in Japan, because it came out before, but yeah, for the West it's like a new game, so that's cool.
So yeah, I think I think this did decently. I don't know. Maybe not everybody agrees with me. That maybe it could have, it could have done better. But for what it is, I think it's okay. If you see what I mean, I think it's okay for what it is, which is a remaster of a game that already. Look at the game was already on PS4. So it's released on PS3, PS4 now, and now PS4 and PS5. So the game was already you can get this game now, right now. The original one, on PS4, and there's probably a load of people that own it, right? So for it to launch and then sell another, what was it again, 30 something thousand on PS4. For it to sell 35,000 on PS4 when it's already on PS4. I thought it was okay. I don't know, man. It's already on PS4, right? So, yeah, no, I thought it was okay. Right. Let's look at what we have next. So, yeah, so there's a two, like a Dragon Ishin. And then number 5, we have Pocket Monsters. Pocket Monsters, Scarlet and Violet, with 23.7 thousand. Then we have Hogwarts Legacy at number 6 on the PlayStation 5 with 21.9 thousand. Number 7 is Splatoon 3 with 14.8 thousand. Number 8, we have that PlayStation 5 version of Octopath Traveler that sold 14.4 thousand. Number 9, actually I think this kind of is a new release. Yeah, it is a new release. Well, it's not technically a new release because it was already on Switch, but this version is a new release. Is what I think. So I'm pretty sure this was already on Switch and it was like a really, really disaster port. It was like really, really bad. But they've re-released it with a new physical, I guess. So this is Ark Survival Evolved on Switch. That sold 13,000.
Maybe it was. I'm not sure if it was released in Japan before or not.
Oh, maybe it wasn't released in Japan. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was released. Maybe it's the first time it's getting released in Japan. Maybe. Yeah, but I don't really know what that game. But I think it's quite an old game, like in terms of its Western release.
Yeah, I think this has got to be years old. Yeah. So it could be that it's new in Japan. I'm not sure, but this was 13. I'm surprised it even sold 13,000. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I don't know. I think this game's. I think they improved how it runs on Switch, but I don't know if it's great because it doesn't run good on any platform. By the way, it's like notoriously doesn't run that well. So I don't know, but 13,000 people went out and bought it. So there you go. Number 10 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That sold another 10,000. And then, as I said, we got Octopath Traveler 2 on PlayStation 4, 7.2 thousand. And other than that, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Digimon World Next Order International Edition. Okay, so did they re-release Digimon World? I guess on the Switch. I think was this a Vita game? This might have been a Vita game. Yeah, that's 7.1 thousand on the Switch. So yeah, I think this is a re-release. It came out. It must have been years ago, I guess. But yeah, I forgot about that one. That was new as well. And then, oh yeah, the other thing we can talk about is we have Horizon Call of the Mountain, right? So this is the PSVR 2 game, right? Now there's no, there actually are no physical copies of it, and I don't know if they're doing physical copies of any PSVR 2 games, or apparently at least we know they're not doing them in Japan. I don't know about the rest of the world if they're doing physical copies. PSVR 1 had you could buy actual physical games, but I don't know if they're doing it for this one. Anyway, the reason
I don't think they have those for PSVR 2.
Yeah,
physical copies.
There doesn't seem to be.
It's all digital. Yeah.
It's all digital. So this Horizon Call of the Mountain, this is a digital code. This is in the bundle, right? There's a bundle with PSVR 2. So that's what this is. unfortunately, we didn't get any because PSVR 2 launched last week, right? Um, unfortunately, we didn't get any like hardware numbers for Famitsu, whereas they did do it with the first PSVR, and that sold. I think it was around 50,000, and then we didn't get any more reports after that apparently. So, and oh yeah, I heard. I must just say I read this. When I was looking at install base forum, and someone said that there was a game that came with PSVR 1. It was PSVR Worlds or something like that. And that was like a bundle, sort of bundle type game, and that one had sold around 6,000 when PSVR 1 launched. So therefore, the numbers for, well, people are just extrapolating, right? That the number maybe PSVR 2 sold between 40 and 50,000, but we don't know. We've just no idea. That's just people guessing, basically. We don't really know. So yeah, that's interesting that charted. We'll have to see if it charts next week, or if maybe Famitsu does release some numbers, or maybe Sony will release worldwide numbers. I certainly would like to know how that did in comparison to the first PSVR. Yeah, 17, again we have this Gran Turismo 7 on the PS5. This is a bundled game. And what else? That's most of the interesting stuff anyway. The Switch version of Theatrhythm Final Bar Line is still in the top 30, number 28, with an additional 2.7 thousand. Now I think this game, I think it underperformed. But yeah, we're gonna get into some of those I'm going in. I'm gonna get into some of these Square Enix underperformances that have been going on. And I still have Genki is so sad. It's wild. I'm having people telling me Forspoken did not flop. It didn't. I'm like, what? I don't know if people are trolling me or not. It's really difficult to tell whether people are trolling me or not. I'm like, really? It didn't flop? Okay. So let's get into the hardware. I'll put the hardware. Okay, hardware Genki. I'm trying to fly through this. Can I make it bigger? Enhance. 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 Can everyone still hear me okay? I'm trying to, how do I do this chat thing? I'm trying to look at the chat on the mobile phone because like because of the lack of a second screen. So Genki, would you like to talk about these hardware numbers? Or I can go for it
quickly.
You can go for it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's go for it quickly. So yeah, this week the PlayStation 5 was the top selling hardware, sold 91,000 units this week. And yeah, I think it's been averaging like 90k these last few weeks. And it was the 5th week in a row that it was the top selling console in Japan, which is quite impressive since considering the Switch has always been the top selling console for most weeks. So yeah, I think it was like the first month that the PlayStation 5 was also the top selling console since like 2018 or something crazy like that. But yeah, and then next was Switch with 61k. It's a bit up from last week, which was 48k. And then after that was the PlayStation 4, which sold 1,646. And then after that is Xbox Series, which sold only 727 units. And that's way down from last week where it sold 6,600 units. Yeah, I think the main reason it was down because all the Series X's got sold out, and then they didn't supply any more Xbox Series X's. And yeah, also with the Series S, I don't know why it's so low, but yeah, last week it was not too bad, like 2,000 for Series S. But then this week it's only 132, which is strange. Maybe it's just I don't, yeah, I can't. Maybe the price increase has affected things, because I think this is the first full week with the Xbox price increase. So maybe that had an effect on on things, on the sales.
I was kind of
The
thinking
Series
that
S.
as well.
Yeah, because otherwise I don't know why it's so low. Because it's not, it wouldn't be a supply problem or like a stock problem, because they're in stock everywhere. So yeah, it would probably just be the price increase. Then people, I'm just speculating, but yeah, that people wouldn't buy it, don't want to buy it because of the price increase. Yeah, and then with the Xbox Series X, it's more like stock issue. Like there's no stock. That's why it's low. Again, back to what it usually is in the last few weeks.
Great.
Yeah, and then last was the
yeah.
3DS with 72. Oh yeah.
72.
What did you think about that?
So yeah, so very strong numbers. Just quickly want to say hi to Kofi. He's joined the chat. Hi Kofi, welcome.
Hey Kofi.
And I missed this, but we had a new subscriber, so I'm gonna see if I can repeat this alert. So we had Pablo Solania. Apologies if I've mispronounced your name. Thank you very much for subscribing. Yeah, so basically I thought it was like another very strong week for hardware. I think I wrote that in, what did I write in my tweet? Yeah. Oh yeah. So the other thing I wanted to say, that basically the PS5, if it maintains its baseline of around 90k, it will outsell the Switch year to date in about 2 weeks. Around 2 weeks. If you look at the year to date, PS5 it's 601,000, and Switch it's 649,000. So it's very strong for PlayStation 5. We still have a situation where the software is not matching the hardware. That's still a big issue. Yeah, but we've kind of gone into that a lot. There's a lot of different ideas of what's going on. We don't know 100% what is going on, but just it's not great. This week was like a little bit better, because I think if you add up all the software that's sold and the hardware, it's almost one. I think it's almost one game per disc version of the PlayStation 5. So, which is better, but it's still not great, because it's like you need to take into consideration there's millions of other PlayStation 5s, right? So the software should be like a lot higher. Switch, I think this is good. The console is 6 years old today. It's the 3rd of March, right? Came out the 3rd of March. So the Switch is 6 years old today. So it'll be going into its 7th sales year. So 6 years old today, which is like, that is high for like a system that old. Like, believe me, like if you look at other systems at that same point in their life, they weren't selling like 50-60k a week. So I think that's a decent result. PlayStation 4, it's sort of the same as what it was last week. There's not really too much to say about that, because we know that is like just the end of like the last run of producing these PlayStation 4s, right? And Xbox, I don't know what is going on with that game, Genki. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought, okay, so people, as you said, like, were trying to get ahead of the price increase. So that's what I thought it was as well. Like, that maybe they're trying to get ahead of the price increase. And yeah, I said there's anecdotal reports that it can be bought easily in stores. Has that been your experience of what you've seen, Genki?
Which one's that? Xbox?
Xbox, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're not the series. I haven't seen the Series X that much. I mean, last week they was in stock because they brought out that new Forza model. But this week I've just seen the Series S. The Series S is in stock everywhere, but yeah, not the Series X.
Right, right. I think with the Series X, it's like still. I think even worldwide, maybe you can't necessarily just get it just like that. Somebody let me know if you're in another part of the world and if you've seen Series X's on the shelves. So it might be just that Microsoft is not. They're just not supplying a lot of Series X's, like like full stop. They might not. They're just not making as many or whatever. So and that's why there's more Series S's. So it could be like just what they're supplying. Um, Xbox is like it's a little bit it's been a little bit unpredictable recently because we had a lot of weeks where it was like for weeks it was just selling like around 1,000, right? After having some quite high weeks of like 10,000, 12,000, we had that 16,000 week last year, and then for some reason at the end of last year it kind of dropped off, and we didn't see any increase until the past couple of weeks when it went up by quite a lot, which we think is because of this price increase that happened and people wanting to get ahead of it. We saw the same thing with PlayStation 5, right? When then people rush out to buy that as well, and the price went up. So yeah, that's probably what it is. And 3DS eShop is closing in at the end of this month. At the end of this month, the eShop is completely closing. So if you want to get any games digitally or DLC, because there's gonna be DLC you can't get. Like they've already shut down the thing for Fire Emblem Fates, where you had to get like the additional path via the eShop in via the in-game menu for that game, which I did make sure I bought in time. But there's like some I'll probably tweet out later. I found like a list. Somebody made like a master list on like Reset Era of like all the DLC and stuff that's exclusive to the 3DS eShop. So yeah, if you want to get that stuff, rush out after. Otherwise, it's going to be the oldie homebrew after that. Just no way to get that stuff. Okay, so we've gone through that stuff. The other topics we got to talk about are president of Square Enix, Yosuke Matsuda, resigned. Pretty big news. That broke in like a few hours ago. So that's kind of breaking news. We've got the Final Fantasy 16 previews and the kind of comments of what Yoshi P said about the term JRPG and all of that. We can get into that a little bit if you like. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about the stores and that, Genki. So I have had some people like ask that I ask you about that, about what's it like in stores and the promotion and stuff.
Okay.
For like did I ask you this a second ago? I can't remember. If I did, I apologise. The promotion for Octopath Traveler marketing. Yeah, what sort of things did you see? Either in stores or online or on TV.
Oh, for Octopath, I didn't see that much. Nothing on TV, and in the stores they have like the regular game displays, like for that they have for all the other games. So yeah, I would see that. Yeah, more in the PlayStation sections, I would see Octopath Traveler ads, like more displays. I mean, but the displays will have like a Switch on them as well. But they were just in like the PlayStation areas most of the time.
That's interesting.
But yeah, otherwise it wasn't really like heavily marketed. I don't think. In Japan, just like Square Enix always has their little display areas in shops, and it was just like another one of those games, along with like Crisis Core and Theatrhythm and Final Fantasy 16, just like getting marketed along with those.
Right.
At Tsutaya now they do have like a big display with the Octopath Traveler 2, but yeah. In terms of general shops, there's like not that much like in-store marketing, just like a regular amount as any other game, I would say.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what I'd heard anecdotally, like, and kind of corroborated a little bit, that there was more, that people saw more of Octopath Traveler 2 in the PlayStation sections of some of these stores. And so people didn't know, it was just like, okay, is that like just the stores have chosen to do that, or is that like is that the marketing materials that Square Enix gave? Because obviously Square Enix gives stores the marketing materials and stuff like that. Is that what they gave them, and they just happened, they were like, oh, put them in the PlayStation sections or whatever. So that's unknown. But if you're saying you kind of saw the same thing a little bit for like your visits to stores. That's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, it could have just been the store that decided to do that. I don't think it's like that. I don't know if it's really that impactful, to be honest. I don't know if that really what difference that would make. In terms of sales, it still sold a lot more on the Switch than the PlayStation platform, so I don't think it didn't seem to make any difference. Yeah, unfortunately, what we've just heard is that just across the board, the promotion hasn't been that great. The marketing hasn't been that great for Octopath Traveler 2. Now, I have seen ads like on YouTube for it, and that's also because I'm just looking at a lot of like gaming videos and stuff, right? And if you're searching for that stuff, you get like adverts like targeted like that, obviously. So I have seen a fair few of them this week, actually, in the UK where I am.
Okay.
Yeah. But when I ask everyone else, everyone's like, no, I haven't seen a lot of them.
Yeah, probably not.
But because I'm looking at gaming videos all the time, right?
Yeah. I think it helped that like the first one was published by Nintendo in the West, and then like they're like much better at marketing than Square Enix. So, or like they have a bigger platform, like they have a bigger audience to market to, I would say, than Square Enix. So that's what helps them in the West. But in terms of Japan, like it's not marketed by Nintendo in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's just I'm not sure why the demand is less for it than compared to Octopath 2. Yeah.
So yeah, the first game wasn't marketed by Nintendo in Japan, but like all the stuff that I mentioned before, like was like the Twitch. It was like the Switch reveal presentation.
It has more visibility being on like the Nintendo shows and stuff, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
It was in like multiple Nintendo shows that were also those directs, and the presentation was also shown in Japan. I don't think we had the feedback demo.
And then like in the stores, then all the marketing would be like in the Switch section. So like it's like they would have like a big section in the Switch, and that's where most people would go, I guess.
So yeah, I don't know why this time around it was in some stores at least. They put them in the PlayStation section.
Yeah, I guess now like the marketing will be more like split between Switch and PlayStation, and not like as focused on the Switch. So
yeah.
That would affect like the Switch sales, I imagine, a bit, I guess.
Yeah, so something happened where this game didn't do as well, and like I said before, there's no way Square Enix decided to put this game on more platforms thinking that it was going to sell less than the first game. The first game massively overperformed, sold 3 million. They wanted Octopath Traveler 2 to sell more than 3 million. They probably wanted it to sell 4 million plus. It's not going to hit 4 million, unfortunately. And even the Steam sales, which I can show you, like I've looked it up on Steam DB, to see how it performed. It's not going to. I don't think it's going to. Even though it performed better on Steam than the first game, I don't think it's going to make up the difference. I don't think this game. Unfortunately, I think Octopath Traveler 2 won't be able to hit 3 million. So yeah, I can show you here. So this is Octopath Traveler 2.
So do you think if it was like a Switch exclusive, it would have sold better? I mean, like the first one.
I think if it had better marketing, and it's just that Nintendo markets things better, and that Square Enix, it's not just that Square Enix made a decision to, I mean, look at the gap between the first game and the second. The first game came out in 2018, this came out this year, and they only revealed it at the end of last year. They decided to reveal it much later. They didn't do the feedback demo like they did before. I think that makes a difference. The first game had a much longer, like over a year of from reveal to release, whereas this one was about 5 months. So it it could have sold more. It could have had more sales potential, right? If they had made different decisions surrounding the marketing when they revealed it, and because when they announced it and there was no feedback demo, I was kind of surprised. I was like, well, hang on, like the other like recent games, they all did this feedback demos, and then we didn't get like the regular demo announced until like was it a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, whatever it was. I think they announced it in the direct. Anyway, it was pretty close to launch, right? So they didn't do that. So it's not even a matter of me saying, oh, the game needs to be exclusive. It's like Square Enix and like their decisions, what they made, revealing the game so late. That means it had less opportunity to be have more exposure. They didn't want to go down the exclusive route. And I understand why they wanted the game to sell more, so they wanted to put it on more platforms. And then obviously, if a game's multi-platform, Nintendo, they don't market them as hard. But Octopath 1 basically was marketed like almost like a first-party game, and it definitely had a knock-on effect of it in Japan as well, because of all those appearances and it had in the different presentations and stuff like that, and just how long, and obviously the feedback demo too. So I think this was definitely a Square Enix decision, because if we look at last year we had what's it called again, Live Alive and Octopath Traveler, what's it called again, Triangle Strategy. Both of those were last year, right? And Nintendo had like,
they did pretty well.
They did well. Like they had like they announced the numbers for those, right? And they only do that. By the way, they only do that and announce the numbers like that quickly when games do well. Like otherwise, they're silent. You don't hear anything. Like how long ago did Forspoken released and they said nothing? There's been nothing. There's been no. Oh, here's the player. Not even player numbers or anything like that. There's no sales numbers. Whereas remember when Triangle Strategy came out, it was like a few weeks or whatever afterwards. They said it sold 800,000 when everyone said, oh, that game's gonna flop. People thought it had flopped. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, so I think they probably do that when it sells or performs better than they expected. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, the point I was trying to make is, because those games were marketed and published by Nintendo last year, the decision to do that would have been like much earlier in development, right? So that just happened like last year. So I don't think this is because Nintendo said, oh no, we don't want to do it. They probably did. Maybe they did want to do it. The first game sold 3 million with almost all of them at full price. It was full. Don't forget, it's a full price game. This isn't like a cheap game. It's full price. So yeah, I think this is Square Enix. They wanted it to sell more, which I completely understand. They wanted to expand the franchise, but it really isn't going to sell more, unfortunately. And I can show you here. So this is SteamDB, which collates a lot of different data from Steam, and Twitch views and player numbers. So we can see like an estimate of the player numbers and estimate of the sales for Octopath Traveler 2. So it had a peak of 17,000 on like, but is this too big now? Can you see that? Or maybe it's too big. Oh, I made it too big, alright. Okay, I'll just read it out. It's difficult to. It just it makes everything huge when I do that. Okay, so had a peak of 17,000 5 days ago, all-time peak. 24-hour peak. The last 24 hours, it's got 13.5 thousand, and players right now is 9.5 thousand. Right. So not crazy numbers, but it's better than the first game. I'll show you in a sec. And then, so owner estimations. When they say owner estimations, it's basically because it's how many people have the game, and that could include like codes given out by the publisher to people. So it's not that wouldn't necessarily be a sale, and it'd be like, so think about like games that go through Kickstarters and that, and then like the backers will get codes and everything, but they haven't necessarily bought it through the Steam store. In the case of this game, we know that some codes were given out, but the fast, like 99.9% of this is going to be all sales. So the estimates we have from Play Tracker, VG Insight, Steam Spy, so this could have sold between 50 and 117,000, something like that. Steam Spy, 117,000. If we look at the first game I have here, this is the first game, Octopath Traveler 1. It released in 2019. It's about a year after the Switch. In fact, exactly a year, I think it was. So this is 4 years ago. This game came on Steam. So it had an all-time peak of 6,177, so way lower than this second game, right? It's a lot lower. It's less than half. And then estimations for owner estimations. Bear in mind this has been on Steam for 4 years. Between 4 and 500,000 owners on Steam. I'm going to look at some of the comments now. Comments now, Genki, or we can look at the comments. Do you want to read them, or do you want me to read them?
You can read them. I think where I can't find them at the moment. Wait. Okay, I can find them now.
Okay.
Okay, I can read the top few. J2 Blue Engage. Hey, says I would highly recommend getting the Professor Layton games, including Phoenix Wright crossover game.
I want it. I want that.
Oh, cool. Is that on the 3DS or DS or
3DS?
I'm not
I
sure.
think it was on DS
okay.
as well.
Those games go for a ridiculously high price physically.
Especially that crossover
Yes.
one.
Oh, okay. Steady Flow said, "What's up, Jodie and Genki?"
Hi, Steady Flow.
Okay. Or maybe the same people didn't buy the sequel because they didn't like it after the first one. I'll talk about Octopath. Yeah, I think this second one's getting really good. Like people who are into it are like into Octopath. They said it's really good. So
Well, that's the thing. It got
the quality is really good.
it
And
got
even,
better
like,
reviews.
Go was saying it was really good.
It got better
Yeah.
reviews, and don't forget, Steady Flow. The first game sold 3 million, and it wasn't even that all. This was over like years, so it was like it's like people must have liked the game if it sold 3 million. But yes, the individual stories weren't connected in the first game, but they are in the second game apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess in the West, like a lot of people are thinking like it's like a continuation, like they don't know that it's like a completely separate game, and maybe that's an issue, like stopping people buying it in the West.
Do you know whose
Or
fault that
maybe
is?
in Japan too.
That's Square Enix's fault. It's the situation with like you got Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4. They're not all. Like, most of them are all just completely separate, right? It's like that. But
Yeah, it's like that.
if Square Enix have not made that clear in their marketing, that's their fault.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I think it's a really good game, and yeah, I think I want to check it out. I haven't played Octopath 1, so I think I'll just check out Octopath 2. 'Cause, I heard it looks pretty good on PlayStation as well, in like HD. Because yeah, I like Live Alive, like the HD 2D style is like really awesome. So like to see it in like 4K and like 60 frames, I want to try that. But yeah.
Oh, sorry, pardon me. Drunk a lot of monsters, sorry.
Okay. And then what's next? Vinnie Mac says to Steady Flow, the game was never marketed as 8 separate stories. See how they're all connected. It was always transparent about what it was. Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure if the stories are connected or not, but it seems like at the end they are or something like that. And Kofi says Square Enix has released some 8 games since September.
Wow.
Do you think that some of the smaller RPGs from Square Enix releasing at the same time can slow sales for them all?
Yeah, it did. Kofi, it did. It did. I was going to go into that because I have the hang on. Yeah, so this article. So if you remember their last financial report, their financial report that came out recently, all their sales was down. Everything's down. So their financial report covered. Where did it cover up to? Did it cover up to the end of 2022? I think.
Yeah.
So
it would be to the end of 2022.
All their sales were down.
December.
I actually made a list of like all the games that, not like a complete list, I couldn't remember everything, all their games that have underperformed or straight out bombed, or that they released these games way too. I'm so glad this Matsuda's gone. He resigned. He resigned because of all this that's going on. And yeah, Kofi, I do think that. I think releasing too many games close together like this, and kind of like, do you remember Genki was thinking like maybe they were rushing out some of these games like at the end of last year? It kind of felt like, why are you putting like games in the same week? Like, what are you doing? I'm sure there was like a couple of games in the same week last year, wasn't there?
The same. I think it was just like week after week.
Or week after week.
Like, yeah. Oh, like consecutive weeks. There were had some games releasing like was it Valkyrie Elysium?
Valkyrie Elysium, Tactics,
and Deerfield.
Deerfield.
Yeah.
That one absolutely bombed.
Yeah, I think they had too many games releasing, and yeah, maybe I think some of them do cannibalize like each other, because like yeah, the audience is like all into the similar type of games, so like, and then you have so much money to spend. Like, yeah, I didn't pick up the Star Ocean or Deerfield, but I did pick up Valkyrie. So like, yeah, you've like, even I like those kind of games, but like can't buy them all.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, I think maybe they have to work out the scheduling a bit better, like spread it out a bit more, and but yeah, it's good like that they are still trying to publish and work with different studios, but yeah, maybe they just have to plan the release schedule a bit, even though they have like so much content. But yeah, maybe just spread it out a bit more.
Yeah.
Just so yeah, they don't so they all have a good chance of selling.
Yeah. So yeah, I do think it did affect it, COVID, to be honest with you.
And then oh yeah, I'll go back to the comments. Sorry, 1 second. Rigo Romero says 1 more month to the Mario movie. Can't wait. Yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah, they announced the runtime. I think they said it was like an hour and a half or something. So it should be quite brief and snappy. And yeah, it's looking really good. And like, yeah, I know an animator that works on it. I think he's from France though. Yeah, and yeah, the animation quality is like really, really high. So yeah, it's like super good. Yeah, you can expect like a really good animation at the least. I'm not sure what the story will be like, but in terms of animation, like yeah, all the animators are like putting their all into it. So like, animation will be like super top quality animation. Yeah, for the story, we'll have to see how it like, but it's looking really good so far. But we'll have to see. Yeah, it will definitely be good. Yeah, that comes out in April or something. Yeah, and then J2 Blue says Square Enix is like that kid that wants to do something by themselves but needs their parents Nintendo to help them. And J2 Blue says that's a weird analogy I just thought of. Yeah. And then Kofi says Deerfield, Dragon Quest 10, offline, front mission. Oh, you forgot about front mission.
I forgot about that.
Crisis Core, Tactics Ogre, Star Ocean. It's crazy. Yeah, it's a crazy amount of games. Like, yeah, yeah. At least, yeah. You can't say they don't do anything. It's not like some other publishers that don't release anything for ages. Yeah, but yeah, the output is kind of great. It's like super crazy. But yeah, maybe it's a bit too much. Like releasing all those at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's others in there like Harvestella and Dragon Quest.
I think Harvestella underperformed. Dragon Quest Treasures, I'm not sure how that. I know it just didn't perform as well as like anywhere near the Dragon Quest Monsters games at all. I think
Oh,
people
yeah,
wanted a
that
Dragon
makes
Quest
sense.
Monsters game, but they made this, Treasures
Yeah.
game or whatever.
Yeah, they have a lot of good content, but yeah, it's just like just giving them chance to breathe and yeah, to get the best like marketing cycles and get the most like optimum sales. I think it's hard when you're like throwing them all out like really close to each other. Yeah. So yeah, and then yeah, Kofi says yeah, we're still trying to catch up. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Still trying to catch up to all those games. Yeah, especially with the JRP, like the Japanese RPG.
Yeah,
genre
you
games.
can say JRPG. You're saying JRPG.
Yeah, I was gonna say JRPG. I don't wanna offend Yoshi P.
Yoshi. Yeah.
No, I'm joking. No, I think like if you use it in like the right context, like it's not. I don't think it's that bad. But yeah, I think when people are just like using it too much, then like that's when I have an issue with it. Like for things that are like not really in that model. But if you're using it for like Japanese RPGs, to say that just as a short, then it's okay. But yeah, I think it has some baggage with it, so that's the issue with it.
Yeah, I think that's what he was. I think that's where he was coming from, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's because like the JRPG games are quite long, and like to have this many like one after the other,
That's true.
It's asking a lot of their fans.
That's really true. Yeah, they're really long.
And then Study4 says, yeah, I agree. Square Enix was releasing too many games last year. It was ridiculous. Wallet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Some of us bought their crazy special editions.
Oh, yeah. I feel sorry for you. Oh, yeah. I did, like, yeah. Did you buy the Octopath 2 one?
I did. I'm such a sucker.
Oh, my God. How much?
Not only that,
like £1,000 are like given to Square Enix.
You said you bought. Hang on, come on.
I think I spent like £500. Maybe.
You did, and you said, didn't you buy the Crisis Core Special Edition or something last year? What was that you bought last year?
Oh yeah, I bought the Crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I bought it on Switch as well.
You bought the Crisis Core Special Edition for Switch, so exactly, and you bought.
I bought the
Final Fantasy
Special
16
edition was for PS5.
Special edition was PS5.
Special edition was the PS5,
and then you bought the Switch version as well. Okay, no, I'm not gonna front. Like I have the Switch version for Octopath Traveler 2, but I'm also gonna get the PS5 version because you can still get the Steelbook. And I looked on. I've got to check again. But last time I checked on Amazon, you can get the Steelbook. You can get the Steelbook version for PS5.
Yeah, don't become like Spencer.
I know Spencer's fault. I kind of got into those Steelbooks now. It's definitely his fault. But I want it because they're different shapes. The ones for
I have like
the PlayStation ones and Switch version are a different shape.
I think I have like literally 2 Steelbooks. Yeah, I have 2. One with Crisis Core, and I got one with the Final Fantasy 15.
Oh yeah.
But that's the only ones I have. Yeah, they're not that big in Japan, so yeah. But yeah, in America, in the West, they love Steelbooks.
Yeah.
With their special editions. That's kind of crazy. Yeah. We are like single-handedly funding Square Enix.
Square Enix be taking my money. Their Square Enix store. The stuff they make this. Oh, I'm getting to a rant again about the stuff that they're making exclusive to the Square. Why was the stuff exclusive to the Square Enix store? And then you make stuff exclusive to the Square Enix store in Japan, which means I can't get it because they don't deliver.
Oh yeah.
Outside of Japan.
Like the live one.
The live one. No, it's a good thing. I couldn't get that one. That one was extremely. That one was extremely over the price. That one was ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh yeah, even the Crisis Core one was Japan only as well, which is a shame.
How much was that?
So no, a lot of people. It wasn't that expensive. It was like Ichiman. Oh, it's like 1,600,000 yen. Ichiman 6,000 gurai, and then it's like 150,000.
How much is that in
yen?
like?
I think.
Dollars.
Is that right? I have no idea.
1,600.
15.
Or 1,000.
1,500 yen. Yeah, so it's like
1,500
$100
yen.
something dollars. $150, like $30 or something.
Okay.
$120.
Well, so it's not as
it wasn't too
expensive as like the Final Fantasy 16 one. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't ask me how much
Yeah.
that. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I bought that too, and the Pixel remaster.
I don't want to talk about that either. And that
was also like,
Square Enix
what,
they made the Western one more expensive than the Japanese one with less content because the Japanese one gets an extra book. They get an extra book.
You get a book, right?
Yeah.
I saw it. They had it at the there's like a pop-up shop, Final Fantasy pop-up shop.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they had the Pixel Remaster collector's edition on display.
Oh really?
So like I saw it and I was like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff in there. I was like, there's like 2 books, like 2 big, like really big art books. Like,
yeah. So
really
one of
fat
those
art
ones
books.
only Japan gets it.
Yeah. Oh okay. So yeah,
Which
but
is
that's gonna be heavy.
BS, by the way. It's BS.
That's gonna be a heavy package.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not as heavy as the statue.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with that stuff. I've got nowhere to put it. I'm not even joking.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Square is taking our money, but yeah, I think in terms of their game sales, yeah, they like in the financials, they were all down, and they are kind of suffering in the HD department of the like HD game development like segment of the company. They're kind of suffering, like they haven't had any big like mega hits for a while. Yeah, but this year it will change with Final Fantasy 16. That should sell decently, or quite well. So yeah, this year it should be better, and then hopefully next year they'll have the Rebirth. So the sales should be picking up, but yeah, until now they've been struggling because without those big hits, it's hard for publishers, I guess, to like keep funding like AAA games.
Well, Forspoken was supposed to be a big hit. I mean, that's what they intended, right? With the investment that they made with it. Final Fantasy 16 is going to be in the obviously that's in the next financial year, or the one we're in now. So when we get their next financial report for the end of the end of the 2023 financial year, or 24, I don't know what they call it. You know what I mean? The one that ended recently. There's probably going to be stuff. It's probably going to be down again. And then we'll get the results for like Forspoken and some other games. So unfortunately that didn't do well. And yeah, like I said with the Octopath Traveler 2, I don't think because J2 Blue Engage asked about that. How much do I sell? How much do I think it will sell overall? So I think this will go over 1 million, pretty comfortably. It could even hit 2 million. I don't think it's getting to 3 million, and I can show you why I think that. So, I'll tell you here quickly, Genki, right? So, if you look at, why is this not displaying? So yeah, this is Amazon Japan, right? This thing isn't signed me in, is it? Right, I'll dox myself. Right, so here's Octopath Traveler 2, switch at number 8, and then let's scroll down a bit. In fact, I don't need to click that. Go to the next page. Hope everyone can see this okay. Actually, there was a quicker way to do it, but I'm a dummy, I didn't do it. Where is it? Where's the other version? Where did it go? Is it not here? Am I just blind? Oh. Maybe it's not on there. Where'd it go? Oh, maybe it dropped off the top 100. Okay, in that case, let me click this. Not sure where they are. So here's the. This one was at number 8 or something, wasn't it? Right. So PS4 version. Maybe it left the top 100. That's why I didn't see it. Okay, yeah. So that's down to 159 on the top 100. PS5 version, so you know what I mean, on the bestsellers. Oh yeah, that dropped to 106, that's why I didn't see it. So there's a large gap between those versions, but I then checked Amazon, like US Amazon, right, which is going to be like the biggest like single video games market console games, right? So I checked for Octopath Traveler 2 on like what it is now. Now on when the game was like closer to release, it obviously they would have been all higher up the chart. And I do have someone who made a tweet about that. So I can check and tell you what that was in a second, because obviously it's all moved now because it's updated hourly. So let's check. So here's Octopath Traveler on the Switch. I'm not always that paranoid that this thing signed me in. So okay, so the Switch version, obviously it's dropped down now because it's like after release, right? So it's number 52. Sorry, number 52 in the bestsellers video games on Amazon.com. So that means US. So now here's the PlayStation 4 version. It's PlayStation 4, as you can see right here. PlayStation 4 version. Yeah, this one really isn't doing well. That's at number 3,831. Right, on the bestsellers rank for video games in the US. And then here's the PlayStation 5 version, which is doing better, but not great. It's at number 541. So there's quite a big gulf between the Switch version and the PlayStation version, which is kind of predictable because the first game was on Switch, and you know things like that. Obviously, that issue. But I feel like this is a game that it's kind of like a Switch or bust game. It has to perform well on the Switch because it's not necessarily the audience for it's not necessarily on PlayStation, unfortunately. And I know there are, you know, many people who did buy the game on PlayStation, and I did tell people to buy the game. But I think like when it comes to the general audience. And I was speaking to my friend about this last night, and last night I was saying that Matsuda, they need to get rid of him, and then he resigned today. It's funny, I was saying that, I was literally on the phone to my friend saying that last night, they need to get rid of Matsuda. But I said to him, basically, what you said, Genki, people have limited money, right? They have limited money, and if you've got a game, granted, this game looks, the PlayStation 5 version looks better than the Switch version, and the PC version, they run better, but there's games that look far better than Octopath Traveler 2 graphically on PlayStation 5. And people that they got money, this is a full price game. So they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to buy the one that looks more like, I'm trying to think of an example. You know, maybe they get Horizon Forbidden West or something. Games that are far more graphically impressive than a full price turn-based game. And you know, there's been a lot of AA games, unfortunately, that have not been performing that well. Like we talked about, Star Ocean, that didn't do well in NPD when it came out. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to Octopath, we will get the NPD, but there's not going to be any per platform breakdowns anymore. So we're not going to see what is sold per platform or where it was on the chart per platform, because they've done away with that, unfortunately. But overall, I hope the game can, maybe with some discounts, have a rebound. That's what I'm hoping, and that the Steam performance will pick up even more. The Steam performance will pick up more, is what I'm hoping is going to happen with that particular game. But yeah, that's my thoughts on what I think it's going to sell. It's because when this game was first announced, I was like, oh yeah, man, this game is going to sell more than... That's what I thought in my head. Like, I thought I was thinking, oh, the sales possibilities and everything. And then the marketing, I was like, oh man, what is Square Enix doing? This isn't great. So yeah. But let's move on, Genki, because we don't have much longer. What would you like to talk about next?
What we can? Oh, Final Fantasy 16.
Final Fantasy 16. Now I don't have the previews in front of me actually. Should I get? No, I don't want to play. I don't want to play it because not everybody's watched the skill up. I watched the skill up one, which is where that Yoshi P quote comes from.
Okay, yeah. Watched a few things. So
yeah. Well, how about you just talk about it, and maybe I can find like an article or something.
Okay. Yeah. So for Final Fantasy 16, it was rumored like they were going to drop um the previews this week, and I guess because so many different outlets and the content creators were invited to the previews and stuff, so it was kind of inevitable that it would get out that it was going to drop. So yeah, the embargo dropped. I think it was sometime. When was it? A few days ago. I think it was Monday or Tuesday,
Yeah.
and they just dropped all the previews for the Final Fantasy 16, and yeah, the game looks. We actually got to see like proper gameplay for the first time.
Proper gameplay and a boss fight.
Yeah, and a boss fight, and so that was quite impressive. And then like we can see like what kind of the type of game it is now, and yeah, they're going for a very dark and moody and very serious tone game.
Yeah.
So it's not like Final Fantasy like 10 or something, or like these bright colored ones. Yeah, the story is more dark, and yeah, we can see like the voice acting is super good. Like yeah, they got yeah, like the main language for Final Fantasy 16 is English. They record all the voices in English first, and then they translated them into Japanese based on the English voice acting. So yeah, that's new for Final Fantasy as well, and yeah, I really appreciate like the effort they put into the voice acting. Most of the accents are British because it's going for that medieval European setting, so they're trying to be authentic to that by hiring mainly British actors, and I think yeah, the British voice acting is like super good, and yeah, kind of reminds me of like some Shakespearean like drama stuff. Kind of style of stuff what they're going for, along with of course Game of Thrones, which is like a big inspiration for them. But yeah, the gameplay looks really cool. Like it's super action based. I don't think it's as like combo heavy and action heavy as like Devil May Cry, but it's definitely leaning more towards that in a way.
Yeah, that's what this article's saying basically that I'm looking at on Polygon.
Yeah, and yeah, it was I was surprised to hear they reference God of War a lot. So you can watching the gameplay, you can actually like see that they're going for like that, Sony God of War style cinematic gameplay, and the same with like the original God of War, how like you can play the whole game in just like one cut. So they're kind of going for that kind of approach as well. Like many of the gameplay and the cutscenes, they like seamlessly transition into each other, so that's kind of also mimicking God of War, and like kind of the how you go to different areas and how you go to different environments and fight bosses. It's quite reminiscent of like the template God of War set as well. So yeah, that was quite a new thing to learn. That they're going for like that whole kind of God of War experience. Mixed with like the Devil May Cry style combat, and their like super like icon like giant kaiju battles, and yeah, you can see a lot of different inspirations like Attack on Titan and Naruto, and like there's quite a lot of anime inspiration in terms of like the way like the cutscenes are, and yeah, I think it looks really good. For me, like it looks. Super amazing. Like, I didn't know they would go like they're really going for that kind of AAA Sony style kind of cinematic experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't something I was expecting so strongly.
So I'm just laughing at what Jodie Blue said.
What did you say?
Was Tor Goat in the preview? Yes, he was. They showed him. You know the dog Torgo? Tor Goat, the dog. They did show the dog.
Oh yeah.
The dog. Okay. Yeah, they said the dog. The dog can fight. Or like you can. issue commands for the dog to fight and heal you and stuff like that. So yeah, Tor Goat was
the
in
dog's
it.
really cool. Yeah, apparently he's like with you for the whole game, so like,
Right, oh, that's
he's
cool.
like your partner for the whole game. Yeah, so that's cool. Oh, for most of the game, yeah. Then when you turn into a big Ifrit, he's not there. I don't
Oh,
think.
where does he go?
I don't know. Oh yeah, in the demo he was just standing on the side with the Sid guy.
Oh,
But,
okay.
Yeah, usually when you're like Clive, he's fighting with you most of the time. But yeah, the game looks really impressive, and like yeah, it looks super amazing. I'm like really super hyped for it, and like the production quality, like it kind of surprised me how high they're going with the production quality.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is like another super triple A type title that they're going for, and you can kind of see it, especially with like the graphics and the effects. It's kind of like it's a bit overwhelming, like how much like graphics and like effects and the craziness that's going on. So like Yoshi P said it was going to be a roller coaster, and like yeah, that's what it's looking like with the crazy action.
Oops, why are you showing this goddamn Switch
yeah, it's quite
advert?
intense.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Sorry, I was trying to play this IGN thing, but it's sending me Metroid. Where's the
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, here we go. I remember playing this one down here. How do I play that? Are you 17? There's a content warning on it. Are you 17 or older? I think I am. Yeah. Oh no, it's showing me the Switch ad again! I'm trying to get rid of this ad! Oh, there's no skip. Let me do that. It's an ad, I can't stop it. There's no like skip button.
They swear a lot in the trailer, but there wasn't anything like that's 18 rated in the gameplay they showed so far. They just maybe they're swearing a lot, or just because the game is rated high. That's why.
Yeah.
There is a lot of blood and stuff.
Yeah. So this is just they've shown this, but don't worry, this isn't spoilery. They've kind of shown this before. This is the Game Awards trailer. No, Jodie, you 15. Shut up, Jodie. This is the Game Awards trailer. Okay, so this isn't even the new stuff, so it's not spoilery.
Oh yeah, it's spoiler.
Yeah, so we've already seen this, which they did show gameplay back then, but it's cut up a lot, so we didn't see like continuous gameplay before the new preview.
Yeah, and I think there's big similarities to Devil May Cry 5. So the combat director, I think, is Suzuki.
Yeah.
Suzuki-san, he after finishing Devil May Cry 5, he joined Creative Business Unit 3 to work on Final Fantasy 16, and they said like before he joined and after, like the gameplay is like revolutionized a lot. So it's like completely different from that. So he like really had a big fingerprint on the game.
Sorry, I saw the dog.
And so like he has a big influence on the game, and that's why they're bringing him along to the press events.
Oh, right. What's his name again?
I don't Ryoki Suzuki or something like that.
Ryoki Suzuki.
His name's Suzuki.
Suzuki-san. Okay. Yeah. He works on a Devil May Cry. He was a combat designer. Jodie, you 15. You shush Jodie.
Ryota Suzuki is his name.
Okay.
But he has a big influence on the gameplay, so that looks really cool.
Cool. Yeah, this looks really cool. I mean, this is old footage, so the new footage looks even better than this. But I didn't know whether people. I know some people didn't watch those previews, and they might get cross. I show it. They're gonna get cross. I watched it, and I watched the scale up one, which is pretty good. But I understand why some people wouldn't want to, like, they might consider it a bit spoilery, because they went into detail about all the, like, they told you everything about the combat, basically. They didn't go into, like, story and the world and stuff like that really too much, but they told us in detail about how the combat works, how like the boss battle and icon battles work because they're a bit different. Because why is this? It's like auto playing something. Like yeah.
Yeah,
So
another thing I was really surprised with like how much QTEs there are, like when you're doing those.
yeah,
Boss
I'm gonna be honest.
battles. That was
I
kind of-
don't like QTEs. I'm gonna be honest. So I wasn't feeling that. Wasn't feeling that.
But they did say that later on in the game there would be less. They said like it's more front loaded, the QTEs.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, that's good to hear. That they put attack on icon. That's funny.
Yeah.
Anyone else in the chat really excited over Final Fantasy 14? I watched the entire 45-minute demo. They didn't do anything for me. I was hoping it would. So that's Vinnie Max said. Oh, so you wasn't feeling it, the demo. I mean, I can kind of see what you're saying. Like, oh, Kike, I didn't know you was here. Why didn't you? Oh God, did you tell me you was here? I didn't know you was here. Wait, give me 1 sec. I'll bring you in a sec. Kike, you have to message me or something because like, if I don't look, I'm not looking at that screen. I can't see someone come in. I'm really sorry. I don't know how long you've been waiting in the waiting room. Sorry about that. Oh God, I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, no, I can understand because like when I saw the icon battle, the 2 icon battles, I was like, this isn't. I wasn't really feeling that because that combat didn't look good. Like it looked flashy in terms of graphics and everything, but like what they was actually doing didn't look that great to me. But you know, that's just my opinion. The other stuff looks good, but that one I thought it was like really slow and sluggish, and I was like, is that really going to be fun to actually play? Do you know what I mean? That was my thought about the icon stuff. So I can understand it's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah. They said like each icon battle will be like super different and like change up the gameplay. So yeah, I think that was just like one example, but there'll be lots of different types of controls for the icon battles.
Okay, yeah. So some of the that's a good point. Some of the icon battles they're gonna look a little bit different from that. They only showed one, which I think was like from the first few hours or something of the game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought it looked flashy, but I just thought that they were just moving so slowly. Even like Skill Up said that basically the combat's not as good as like when you're just playing as like regular Clive because he's got a lot more combat options. But I think they obviously intentionally make them kind of slow because they're meant to be like kaiju size, so they're kind of slow. Kike, I'm sorry about the wait. Genki, if you don't mind, I'm going to bring in Kike because he was waiting in the waiting room and I actually didn't realise he was in there.
Okay,
so
cool.
sorry if you've been waiting for a while, Kike. I'm going to bring you in. When you're ready, we you can give us your thoughts. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. Yeah, I can understand maybe it's not like, especially I think like maybe older Final Fantasy fans probably feel a certain way, but because I'm not like an old Final Fantasy fan, right? I've only played it recently. I never played it when I was younger, so I'm not. I don't really have that same attachment to it. Although personally, I kind of prefer like more turn-based stuff. Rather than a lot of it depends on the action. Like I can't do if it's like really really like intense stuff, like more like you have to be really good timing and stuff like that. Like the Souls games, I'm really bad at that, right? But yeah, according to Skill Up, the combat in Final Fantasy 16 isn't difficult. They said it's not like super difficult, so probably even I could do it.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of like they have these these rings that you could like do auto dodge and auto attack and stuff. So like you can make it quite like accessible in that way. So they said they wanted it to be a game that anyone can play. So hopefully it should be okay. Like if you just want to like if you're not like super good at action games, you can still enjoy it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping that is, because I'm not super good at action games. So yeah, maybe I'll have to use those accessories or something.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I think. Yeah, but the story will be like really good. I think like they said there's like loads of cutscenes and
11 hours
it's gonna
apparently.
be
Didn't
like.
it say 11 hours?
Oh yeah, that's what they said. And like yeah, you can tell it's gonna be like really dramatic and like it's gonna be like loads of crazy turns and twists and like betrayals and like crazy. As they said, it's really violent as well. So there's like gonna be a lot of gore. Like yeah. There's a lot of like cutting off people like the icon's arms and stuff. Yeah, so it's gonna be quite violent as well. But yeah,
There's some of the.
but
There's
yeah,
some
it's
images.
looking quite it's looking really cool. Like, cause I mean I like action games like Devil May Cry and I like Astral Chain a lot as well, and those kind of games. So I think yeah, if you like those kind of games, I think it will be good. But yeah,
I like them,
yeah.
Genki. I'm just pants at them. That's the problem.
Uh, yeah, I hope it sells really well, but because you know that usually that genre doesn't sell like crazy, like Devil May Cry, those kind of
Oh,
games,
yeah, it's
like
true.
Bayonetta and stuff. But hopefully, like the story will like and like the and I don't think it's as crazy as Devil May Cry, like with combos and
Yeah.
chaining attacks and stuff. So I think it'll be a bit more accessible. It won't be like exactly like Devil May Cry. So I think that will make it give it a more mass appeal. So yeah, but I think like the story will be the main thing like really pushes it like the game as well to
Yeah.
like more like mass audience
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because like beyond people that just like action games.
Yeah, so I think this will definitely reach a much wider audience than just like a Devil May Cry or something like that. I think this will sell pretty well. I think most people, I don't know, I think most people are looking at it and they might, I don't know if they necessarily got Devil May Cry in their head, although the combat kind of looks like that, right? But they might not automatically come to their mind, oh, it's Devil May Cry type thing. So yeah, I think some of these screenshots they got, this is on IGN, so they've taken these screenshots, but they look pixelated. So I don't know why they put ones like that up. Yeah, these are really pixelated. They took them from the stream or something. Um, yeah, so the game looks really good, and I think despite you know President for ex-president Matsuda's best efforts, it's just the game will succeed. Um, yeah. So, Kike, are
Yeah,
you
Square
there?
Enix management is like really hit and miss.
It's
But
not good.
yeah, but the Yoshi P side of stuff usually hits. So
Yeah, he's been doing
Also,
well. Oh, hi, Kike.
no, I am here. I just don't have anything to add to discuss to this
Oh, you don't
topic.
have anything to. You don't. Did you see the
oh, Sonic.
previews?
I did. I did see the previews.
What were your thoughts?
I mean, the game looks good. The thing is that since I'm not planning on getting a PS5. I don't know. I don't know
Oh,
when
you
I'm
don't
gonna
have a
play this.
PS5, right? Yeah.
Like,
I think it'll be
and
on
they said
PC
that.
like a year after or something.
Yeah, they said that even if the 6 months exclusivity expires, that the PC version won't be ready. So
Yeah, because it's gonna take them way longer than that to like actually port it and optimize it and all that.
it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, and who knows that they might even have DLC plans. So maybe they might even have like some of the team doing DLC or something like that.
I hope it's as good as the DLC for 15. I know it got canceled midway through, but
Yeah.
the 15 DLC was pretty good.
Oh right. Yeah, yeah,
I think if it sells really well, they will definitely make DLC. So yeah, hopefully they would add something later on. And yeah, with the PC version, yeah, like the way Yoshi he was talking, like yeah, definitely not 6 months, but uh, maybe like a year after or close to that it can come, or like
yeah,
9 months later at the earliest. I would imagine it could come to PC.
yeah. That's what I
Is
think
what
as
I'm
well.
thinking. Because like I think Remake had like a 1 year exclusive, but it came out on PC like over a year and a half later. So usually it's like a bit longer than the contract terms.
Seven was weird because it had originally had a 7 year, not a year exclusivity. Then Integrate came out, and then they made a new agreement for 6 more months of exclusivity. So
Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
that I mean that was the, I mean we didn't have absolute confirmation of that, but that was the rumor, right? So they,
well, I think one of the texts, like one of the tiny texts, says exclusive on PlayStation for like, or the original was like a year,
yeah,
and
right.
then for Integrate it's like exclusive for PlayStation for like 6 months. Like I don't know if it was a trailer or like
Oh, okay, it was
like a
maybe in the
bug.
trailer, right?
Yeah, they had like tiny text that said exclusive for blah blah blah.
I remember the first game, and I remember it saying that, and it had like there was an actual date in the trailer. I'm sure there was a date, like April 2021. Mate, when did that game? I can't remember when it came out. When did Final Fantasy VII
April.
Remake come out? Was it 2020?
April 10,
Yeah.
2020.
It was.
I remember
2020.
'cause we were all locked
It was
up.
a lockdown, right? Yeah. So it said, yeah, I think it said like April 20, or like it can go on other consoles April 21 or something like that. So when that rolled around, I remember people saying, "Oh, any day now, they're gonna port it to Xbox. So yeah, it's gonna come, and then it just never did, right? And then we got the Integrate DLC, which was PS5 only. So
I'm wondering.
yeah.
I'm wondering if did Sony pay to make sure like, hey, you can port it anywhere except Xbox, or is Square Enix like, man, we're just gonna wait until Xbox gives us a check or something. Like, I wonder which one of the two it is.
Well, we know how Square Enix loves their bags. That's one thing. They love their bags. They want a bag for this, that, and the other. And the thing is, when you give them bags, then they get used to. They was like, well, okay, why are we going to do it without a bag? When no, so you saw, the first Octopath obviously on Xbox and Game Pass because they got a bag, and then Microsoft wasn't giving them a bag for the second one. But like, well, okay, you don't get it then. So
Yeah. I think 'cause they got a bag from Sony, so
they got a bag
like
from Sony.
after that, and they even got a bag from Epic.
For
like-
Final Fantasy, not for Octopath, I should say. They got a
Not
bag.
for Xbox, for
Yeah.
a remake.
Yeah, for remake, yeah.
And then for Xbox, like if they're not getting a bag, then like I imagine they just didn't have the incentive to, because there's a lot of work to port it over to Xbox, or like more work than what people imagine anyway. So I guess they just didn't have the incentive to do it. Was my thinking.
The incentive is money.
Yeah. Maybe they want a bag to port it to Xbox.
They definitely want bags.
Cause it's not, because it's a lot of work to make a port. I mean, like, yeah, they'd have to put work into it. So maybe if Xbox pays the porting money, or like, yeah, because otherwise maybe they just don't see the incentive.
I think they don't.
Unfortunately,
Like with 7 remake, so the one thing is that even if the exclusivity contract is like expired right now, like the game is so old at this point. Like it's like, what incentive do they have? Would Square Enix have to do it? Because like you said, it takes. I don't think people realize it takes a lot of work. It would take like a year of work to port that to Xbox. It's not just like you just flip a switch or just click through options menu or something to port the Xbox button. Like it's like a year of work to do that. And then what would be their return for a game that's now 3 years old, right? Which means they wouldn't be able to sell it at full. Well, no, Square Enix, they probably would try to sell it at full price, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they wouldn't.
No, they couldn't sell it.
Yeah, it's 3 years old.
Like on the PS4 for like $30 or something. Then
Yeah,
they
I
couldn't sell it
think
for full price.
they might sell it for like 40, 50. If it did go to Xbox, maybe. But basically, yeah, like at that point, a game so old like that kind of like the interest dies down the longer you leave it. So even if this, yeah, as I said, even if it's expired, which I don't know, we don't know. Like you know, there's all these rumors. Oh, they extended the contract. They did this, that, and the other. We don't know exactly what. It's just speculation. But like I'm saying, even if it's expired now, then they wouldn't make a lot of money on it. You know.
Hopefully the contract comes out with FTC stuff. It'll be interesting to see.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that, Genki. You're right.
But maybe it could be, but they could be like redacted or something.
Yeah, what they'll probably do is they'll have it and they'll say this, that, and it'll be like the actual numbers and things will be redacted.
Oh, okay.
Like that's what I'm
hopefully
guessing.
We could see something.
We'll see something.
We'll see.
Oh my god, that's gonna be so interesting, Genki. Steady Flow says that he's in the waiting room. Thank you for telling me, Steady Flow. Thank you so much. Where did you write? Did you write that in the? Oh no, hang on.
Yeah. I wanted to say like there were some people on Twitter saying like you know when Luminous Productions announced they're merging into Square Enix, there were some people like trying to say like, oh this is good news.
Oh my god, Genki, I got the same thing as well.
This means Luminous Productions and like Forspoken did well.
No.
I'm a big Square Enix fan. And I was a big Luminous Productions fan as well, and I like Forspoken, but yeah, I like.
Well, you're realistic.
Even I was realistic.
Like no, that's not good. Especially the fact that not only did they do that, like soon after that game came out, they did it with an announcement thing, like the tweet picture with the thing on it, and I was like, no, that's not good. Like, if you remember do you remember when they originally spun off Luminous, Genki? That basically their goals with it was to have that studio make new AAA IP. And I think even one thing you said, Genki, stuck in my mind, was that like they kind of wanted that to be their Sony Santa Monica. I think that's the way you phrased it. So the fact that they now merged that, and I'm really glad they did that, and they didn't just, you know, that all the devs and everyone's got their jobs, and they didn't like get rid of the studio. That basically means they're not going to be tasked with just having a new IP, like a budget to make a new IP, new AAA IP. They're never going to do that again. They're just going to be helping with, you know, Final Fantasy and, you know, whatever, you know, other games.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe like Kingdom Hearts or
Kingdom Hearts, or you know, whatever it is. Oh, Vinnie Mac, why has it got that blue line around your name? Vinnie Mac, let me bring you in.
Yeah, but yeah, just rip to Luminous Productions. It's sad.
Rip to Luminous Productions. We can also talk about Matsuda resigning. Because oh my god, Genki, I can't tell whether people are like joking or not. People are trying to tell me no, it's not a bad thing. Oh, it's because that there's a new president because he's just to do the NFTs and everything they're pushing for, like you didn't read what they wrote in. I did read it through the Google Translate or whatever. It's PR. It's PR spin of what they said. He resigned. You don't just have a president just suddenly resigning, like, because he got pushed out, basically. President just doesn't, of a company like that, doesn't just suddenly resign. And not only that, when you actually look at the article, do I have it here? So when you look at this article, right, which I'm using Google Translate, right, look at the details of change. You've got the new president here, Takashi Kiryu, great name, and the new position, Yosuke Matsuda, right here. New position. It's blank. It's blank. He doesn't have a new position. They haven't given him a new position. What do you think happened? He doesn't have a new position. He's probably gone. They haven't just demoted him. It's blank and the new position.
Oh yeah. In the press conference, he said he was like retiring. And like he said, he's been there for 10 years, so he thought, oh, it's my time to move on. Yeah. So he's like, leave. But yeah, we'll have to wait to see what the financials say.
Just abruptly, like he's just like, I'm resigning, just abruptly like that. Yeah.
I wonder what was the straw that broke the camel's back. Cause
Forspoken, and welcome, by the way, Forspoken, and then the fact that you launched, obviously the most recent game is Octopath Traveler 2, launched on more platforms and is underperforming the first game. Like, what were the decisions involved in that? Theatrhythm, I think, underperformed a bit. I don't think that did crazy numbers. That was the next most recent game. What was before that? I can't remember. But it's just like back-to-back games underperforming and then shutting down. I made a list, man, of all these games. They had like not everything, so I couldn't think of everything. This guy, oh my god, someone says, this is a reply I got, and I couldn't tell if this was serious or not, Genki. Someone said, can you stop shitting on, I'm not meant to say, can you stop S-word on Forspoken? The game didn't bomb at all. Was always top 3 on Amazon and such, and the game has its flaws, but was a great game. What?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was like a super like the worst selling game ever, but
not
like
ever, but
the worst. But it compared to the budget, like in relation to the budget and their expectations, that's where it was disappointing, like the sales.
Yeah, because they spent a lot of money on this game.
I don't think it sold like 0 or anything like that.
I think it
sold
sell
like
0.
a couple million or something like that.
I think they wanted this to be like 5 million plus.
Yeah, their expectations are like that AAA, like God of War kind of sales, or like
which God of War sold what?
Like
nearly
God of War sold like 11
20.
or something, 11 million or something. But yeah, I think like 5 million would have been good for them, I think, or their expectations. But it probably did like just like 1 or 2 million probably.
Genki, I have a quick list of some of these games, right? Recently. Within the past like year or so. Like, this isn't everything, because I couldn't remember everything. Babylon's Fall. Genki, let me just do this quickly. Stranger of Paradise, Chocobo Racing, Valkyrie, which they shut that one down, by the way. Valkyrie Elysium, Harvestella, which I think underperformed, never heard anything about it. Neo the World's End Review, we know that flopped. Deerfield Chronicle, flopped. Balan Wonderworld, flopped. Avengers, flopped. Octopath Traveler 2, that's underperformed. Forspoken, underperformed. Guardians of the Galaxy, remember that one? And they sold off all the studios because of that. Games that are shut down. Final Fantasy VII, the first shoulder, I can't even say it. Soldier, shut down. Bravely Default, Brilliant Lights. Well, they never bought West, which I'm annoyed about that. Anyway, shut down. Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Diet, shut down. Someone else mentioned Final Fantasy Record Breaker, shut down internationally. Look at all these games. This isn't good.
Man, I was so disappointed with Balan.
Balan, don't bring Balan into it. Yeah, that was. Oh my god, the drama of Balan Wonderworld is crazy. It ends up in.
Oh, and Yuji Naka. Did you see the news, Genki?
Going to prison.
He admitted it. He did it. He did the inside. For those who don't know, he was insider trading. Basically, he knew that some Dragon Quest mobile game, right? That this company was gonna this external like mobile company was gonna get the contract. So he and some of his mates at Square Enix decided to invest in it. And they invested in another. There was another company as well, but I can't remember what it was. Going to.
The one that did First Soldier.
Oh, was it that one as well?
Yeah.
Choir, I think. Oh, not Choir. I forgot the name was, but yeah, that one too.
Oh yeah.
I think in Japan, if you like plead guilty, then like you're much they'll be more lenient to you.
Really?
The sentence.
Oh yeah, I've got the article here. I'm gonna bring this up. One sec. Yeah, go ahead, Genki. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so I think that's why he just like pleaded, like admitted to doing charges. So like he probably get a easier sentence by admitting the charges from the court.
So yeah, I have it here.
Yeah,
like he admitted it. He admitted it. Yuji Naka admits to insider trading. Prosecutor claims that the ex-Square Enix employee, he was an employee, made a profit of $167,000 with insider trading. And I'm like, Yuji Naka, is it really worth it for $167,000 to ruin like your career and your legacy and everything like that? Come on, man. Maybe
Square Enix isn't really that shit.
And don't forget, this happened under like I don't think Matsuda resigning is like directly related to this, but this did happen under his watch.
Yeah, that's bad. That was a bad thing. Like whoever hired him to make that game and make that Balan Studio,
They
yeah,
made a
that was a
studio.
bad choice.
They made a whole studio, a separate like
Man.
balanced studio for this to make this. Like, oh, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that,
so someone called Sasaki and then Naka were officially charged.
was
At
that
the end of
oh yeah.
December.
Yeah.
Taisuke
So I think apart
Sasaki.
from like the Final Fantasy 14 games and the remake games, yeah, apart from that, they're like a lot of their other games they're not doing as well. So yeah, that so under his watch. So
Genki, do
yeah.
you want to give your thoughts quickly on this JRPG situation before you go? It's like 5 minutes left.
Oh okay, yeah. I have to go in 5 minutes. The JRP. Oh yeah, I think yeah, I was like quite surprised because I didn't know about like the baggage between of the word like JRPG that has in the Japan development communities, but I kind of understand it because in Japan like JRPG doesn't exist, like that term is not used. It's kind of like oh yeah, it's kind of like anime because like anime in the West has a completely different
It's
meaning
different
to
media.
what it is in Japan. But if you say anime in to Japanese people, I guess they're both thinking of the same stuff, like
It's just
Japanese style
animation.
animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with the JRPGs, like that word doesn't exist at all in Japan, and the connotation it has, meaning it has to Japanese, just like a few, like a lot of Japanese developers, especially the ones that were around like 20 years ago,
Hmm.
is completely different to what it means in English to most people in English.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I think as it was used in a negative way for a while, I think that the like Japanese people don't have any other exposure to that term, so the only exposure they had to it was when it was used in a negative way. So like I think that kind of stuck for a lot of people, and also like in the case of Final Fantasy 16, they're trying to break out of that JRPG like box pigeonhole, and like they're trying to become like a God of War type, triple A blockbuster game that's not like pigeonholed by the genre. So I think that's why he didn't like it as well. And like you can imagine, like other Japanese developers are making games that like, oh, this is not like a traditional JRPG, but people are still calling it a JRPG and like limiting it in that way. So that must also be really annoying for developers as well. So I think that's why they don't like it. But yeah, I think they should ask more people, like more developers, like the media, Western media. They should talk to more instead of giving their own opinions. I think they should
Yeah,
ask more
yeah.
Japanese developers like what they think of it. Like honestly, I like some people just say it like, "Oh, we don't mind it" because they're just trying to be nice or something. But
Mm.
it's not really a term that's used in Japan, so maybe that's why they don't like it. Because like with other words, it's like more tied to language, like when you put the J in there or like J-pop or J-drama or something. But
Oh,
with
yeah.
JRPGs, it's like yeah, I don't think it needs to be there. Um, like yeah, in terms of it, for me, like in terms of it actually meaning Japanese RPGs, I think it's fine. But when it comes to just meaning like games from Japan or like made in Japan, like even if they're not like that typical like turn-based RPGs, then like yeah, I have like issue with it, like because like it can be quite confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you're not talking like a traditional turn-based Japanese RPG, and yeah, I think the word loses like a lot of meaning. So yeah, that's my issue with it. But if like people are not using it in a negative way, then it's not too bad, I don't think. But yeah, what the in terms of yeah the Japanese creators, I can see why they don't like it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot for your input there. And I can kind of see where they're coming from, that there was a time when it really was used negatively. Like in the sort of mid 2010s kind of era,
Yeah,
mid 2010s. That's what was going on
yeah,
with the Western media. So I can see where he's coming from, and if they've, I mean, that's just how he feels. Obviously, it's going to vary from person to person, but it seems like there's definitely some people that felt like that term was used to say these games are maybe not as good as Western games. If you look at that time, the type of games there was like Fallout and maybe like Mass Effect or Dragon Age and all these games kind of coming out at that time. So it kind of was used in a kind of negative way, but a lot of people were taken aback or surprised, because I guess people and maybe the Western media hadn't really thought about it, because now it's not like it doesn't have the same negative connotations. I don't think it's just used to say, well, okay, so this is an RPG from Japan. It's like literally it's made in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
I do understand Yoshi P's point of view of
yeah, because I think
so.
games are getting more broad and like more like expansive. They're not just like sticking in the same traditional like styles as before. So like when the Japanese companies are trying to expand worldwide and like globally, and like those like labels must be annoying for them.
Right.
I can imagine. But
Yeah,
that's probably his issue.
That makes sense.
As well as like the whole slightly bordering racist period that we had
this
back in the
like okay, Genki. I don't know if you Genki. Do you remember this? There was like I tweeted this out before. I didn't tweet out what it was, but there was like a really racist term that people used to use. Like, I remember because I remember that, and if I remember that must have been going on for way longer before I started getting back into gaming news in like 2016, and I remember hearing it then with what people were saying in 2016.
Oh yeah.
Vinnie Mac says, "Can we hear you?" I saw Vinnie Mac. You said you're muted. What's happened here? I'll try and bring you. I'll try and take you out and put you back in. What happened? I'm really sorry, Vinnie Mac. We can't hear you. What's going on here? Oh wait, now it says you're unmuted. Are you talking? I don't know if he's talking or not. Wait, let me try it again. I don't know what's happened here. Sorry, one sec. I'm going to try and put you back into the waiting room. Will it work? I'll put you back in again. I don't know. Genki. Vinnie Mac, try hanging up and call it back again. Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Genki. For your input. I know you got to go now. We did talk a little bit about the like inside the stores and that. I did ask Genki about it, but the stuff inside the stores. I did want to go into a little bit more about that, but we don't have time now. So next time I will talk to Genki more about basically I would like to talk to you about your visits in the stores like over the time and how you've seen things changing and stuff like that. But because there was so much news today, like we didn't have time to cover it all. But maybe we can do that another time.
Yeah.
But thanks a lot, Genki.
There's not much I saw change. Like just maybe the streaming stuff, like PC, like esports stuff is like got more popular in some of the bigger stores. But apart from that, it's the same.
Yeah, those sections got bigger, right? Or they added more stuff.
Yeah, and apart from that, maybe in terms of some places like the floor space is getting a bit smaller, like especially like for like PlayStation, some places.
Right.
Just a little bit, but apart from that, the last 2 years have been kind of not that different.
I'll have to go back and look at like all the photos you posted. I know you've got some of them on like what's it called again? That thing, Patreon. Yeah, there's a load on Patreon and stuff like that. I'll have to go and have a look at that, and look through them, and then I'll talk to you about it another time. But Genki has a lot of great photos on his Twitter and Patreon as well. He has a lot of detail, and if you look at his YouTube channel, is your YouTube channel just Genki Gamer? Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, on YouTube and Patreon, Genki Gamer.
Genki Gamer.
So if you
On
just search
Twitter, he used to be
Genki
Genki
Gamer.
Gamer. I think he changed it. I remember that.
I changed.
He
I
changed it.
changed.
Yeah. So if you look at Genki Gamer, there's a video from a week or two ago, where Genki went like through. It was a really good video. I really do appreciate that video. All right, thanks a lot, Genki. I'm gonna talk to people here. Hopefully, I can get Vinnie Mac in, for about another hour. But yeah, thank you for joining me today, and hope you get a good night's sleep.
Oh yeah, you too. Have a good evening or day wherever you are.
Afternoon.
I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Yeah, afternoon. Okay, see you guys. Ciao.
Okay, let me try it and see. Oh no, he's disappeared again. Where's Vinnie Mac go? Vinnie Mac, are you on mobile? Is that what it is? Because it's like a little mobile symbol next to your name. Vinnie Mac is having connection issues or something, unfortunately. Vinnie Mac, if you, I don't know if he can hear me. Hopefully you can hear me on the stream. If you're having difficulties, message me and I'll see what I can do. Sorry about that. I don't know why, because I'm sure we've had that bug before where usually what happens if someone goes out and then comes back in, it normally fixes itself, but I don't know why it's not fixing itself this time. So yeah, let me look at the comments we have here. How do I get the live chat back up? Okay, live chat. Let me have a look. Where did Genki get to on here? 1 second. 1 second. We got to. Oh god, there's a lot of comments on here. Right, I'm going to try and get through all of these. Steady Flow says, I'm excited for. Oh no, wait, no. There's more above that. Oh, sorry, there's even more. Oh my god, what have you written here? You've written so much stuff. Vinnie Mac said it looks more like Lightning Returns to a larger scale. Single player combat, changing battle stances are the gold numbers, staggering, and quick time events. Game Killer says the exploration is what I'm wary on. I don't play too many games with DMC style gameplay, so I'm curious if it will grab my attention over time. Yeah, we haven't really seen the exploration of the world yet. In the combat demo that they showed us, it was like they showed like a little section where Clive was just like in this like a dark castle almost, and he was just like walking down a corridor, so we didn't even really get to see like, for example, towns or anything like that. And it was really dark on that scene, because I did watch that, and it didn't. Yeah, so you're right. We haven't really seen that yet, so it's like, can't really judge that because I haven't seen it. Hopefully that, obviously they will show it. We're still another 4 months, right? So they'll probably have another blowout where they go into the exploration and the world and the story. They touched on it. They just said about these crystals and the kingdoms or nations are vying for control of these crystals and stuff like that. But they haven't gone into it that much. Vinnie Mac says, I'm wondering that as well. The game is very high pace, very high energy. I'm not sure how those slow moments will work. Yeah, not sure. Rigo Romero, with Diablo 4 and Street Fighter 6 and Final Fantasy 16 all coming up pretty much at the same time, will be interesting for sales. It will be very interesting for sales. Are they all in June? Are they all releasing in June? Is that what you mean? They're all in June? Steady Flow says, I'm excited for Final Fantasy 16. Gameplay on point. After spoken, I'm hyped for Final Fantasy 16. Yeah, it looks really good. Got that special edition coming with a big statue that I've got nowhere to put. Roche said, did I miss the talk about the new president of Square? Oh, we did talk about it a little bit. I didn't say anything about the new president because I don't know him. He's some bureaucrat in Square Enix. The new president is Takashi Kiryu, or I don't know if it's Takashi Kiryu or Kiryu Takashi. That's what I thought it was. Because the names are switched. They normally do family name first in Japan, but I don't know if this Google Translate has changed it around, or if it is his first name is Takashi. Is Kofi here? Does he know? I don't know. Yeah, so I can't read this kanji, so I don't know. So next one. Remax is no, nice. Roche, Final Fantasy 16 will be released in a year or year and a half after this exclusivity deal is off. Will be released in a year or a year. Oh, do you mean released on other platforms? I guess that's what you mean. Released on other platforms? Yeah. Basically it's going to take them, it's like however much time it's going to take them to port, and then also they may be doing DLC, which will take up some of the team's time, so it'll probably be like a year. Oh, like you're right, over a year. Steady flow. All I got to say is the current president of Square Enix is not leaving in April instead of June. Next month, April is the beginning of the first financial semester. April is the beginning of the first. Yeah, I think it's earlier in Japan. Steady flow. I think there's already changed. Rigo Romero. I actually see. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone and the text is tiny. I actually see Final Fantasy VII Remake on the new Switch before Xbox. Really? Because I don't see that. Maybe, but I don't think so. But I mean, maybe it's possible. Steady flow. Square Enix may be down 7%, but it's not hurting as bad as you say, Jodie. I didn't say it was hurting really bad. I just said it was down. That's all I said, really. I just said it was down. And for any company, if you have like your sales down and then like just a number of games underperform, and mobile. Don't forget their mobile games they do decently in mobile games. They've had a load of them shut down recently, and live services shutting down. Like that's not good. That's not good. So I'm not saying like Square Enix is going bankrupt or anything, but for a company that's like a publicly traded company to have like the last financial report covered 9 months. Hang on, let me just look in here. No, not that. Where's the where did I had that article up? Yeah, it covered a 9-month period. So I can't see where it says it on here. Does it not say it in this article? I'll have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it covered more than even just like the last quarter. It was more like 9 months. I'll look it up later, because I don't think it says it in this particular article, the time period that it covers. But yeah, that's pretty bad, and plus the fact, yeah, so it says here, they rolled out 19 major games for mobile and PC browsers like last year. Although it launched a myriad of new games, the conglomerate produced 85.7 billion yen, which is $654.8 million, which is a decrease of 12.4% year over year. So that's the problem, Steady Flow. See, this is what investors look at, and what their board of directors look at. They're looking at this. This is what they're looking at. So that was that. The sales dropped. So that was the sales drop was 7%, but the where's it gone again? Yeah. So the overall, I guess this is revenue. This is revenue or profit. Let me say here. There's yeah, it doesn't say whether that's profit or not, but yeah, that was down 12%. That's the problem of why, and this is why, yeah, I'm not saying they're about to go bankrupt, but that is like, that's what they look at. They basically what they want to see really is like an increase every financial period is what they want to. It's what investors and everything want to see. But yeah, this is it's not great. Rigo. Oh no, I did that. When I get to, I can't come to the room because I'm at work. No problem. Yeah, I do realise that, and unfortunately, Vinnie Mac. I don't know if Vinnie Mac. Sorry you couldn't join. I think he was having some connection issues, so he hasn't come back. So maybe he's had some connection issues. Did you want to say something, Kike?
Well, I just wanted to bring up a topic since I need to leave in about 5 minutes too.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I think you've seen there are rumors going around about the new Switch.
Oh yeah, there's always rumors, but yeah, I think I've seen some of them. Yeah.
So I want to bring up the topic of like since it's the seven years since the Switch came out. So 1, 2, 3. No, 6. Wait,
it's
no.
6. Yeah.
No, 6. Yeah, 6. We're going on 7. What's your opinion on when a successor is coming out? Because even if the rumors aren't true, I do believe at some point they'll have to come out with a new
Oh yeah, for sure.
system.
Yeah.
I don't know what's your
So,
train of thought of when they might come out with a new one.
So, I before this year, before like as in last year, before this year. I mean last year, 2020. I thought it was going to be 2023. Now I'm thinking 2024. So part of the reason I think that is because we have like a really big major game that they're releasing in May, right? So Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to be released in May. So I feel like if say for example they were going to have the system launched this year, like end of this year, holiday or whatever, it's like it seems odd to me that you would like have that game launch in May and not just hold it for another few months to launch with the new system, like a big game like that. It just seems really close. Plus I think if it was coming this year there would be like even more rumblings than what we're getting now, because you'd have to be like they'd have to be dealing with like the manufacturers and like yeah, like they would have to be getting that all in order right now in order to get it ready. So now I'm thinking it's going to be next year, and it could be that it's going to be they're going to do another like March like launch again, or it could be holiday 2024. Now I'm not sure about the mid-year or like out of holiday launches. I feel like the main reason that the Switch did end up launching in March is because they just didn't have it ready. They wasn't going to have it ready in time for the holiday. That's what I think. Because I think it's kind of preferable to launch in the holiday, because obviously like that's when sales are the highest. So I'm thinking 2024. It could be that it will be early 2024 and it will just be outside of the holiday, or maybe it will launch in the holiday. So, but as far as we know right now, there is no like major holiday game that we know of. Like we have Tears of the Kingdom in May, and then Pikmin 4 is when, July or something like that, and then Pokemon DLC, which is, what did they say? Fall and then
Fall and winter, which is suspicious.
winter, yeah. So that could go from obviously the end of December through to early 2024. So
it just feels fire to that original rumor.
It's what, sorry?
Because it's the leaker said, "Oh, these are the new Pokemon DLC, and it's coming out late 2023 and early 2024."
Yeah.
And we're also developing a graphics pack for the new Switch to coincide with the second DLC. That's the rumor.
So that's the rumor, and the leaker did come and clarify. My thoughts on that are basically yes, that leaker got the details about the DLC, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean, or what I'm saying is, I'm not necessarily going to take their word for like, oh, there isn't a patch and this new system's coming out, or they implied it was coming out, like with that new patch, because people do weird things for clout all the time. And for me, it's not that I'm saying it's not true or I think it is true. I don't have any enough evidence, me personally, to draw a conclusion. I think for me personally, I need to wait for corroborating evidence, because so people can be right about something and still make another thing up. People do weird things for clout all the time. It happens all the time. Like, why leak stuff in the first place? What are you getting out of it? You're not getting any money. People don't know who you are. You're anonymous. It's just like a weird clout thing, right? So yeah, I personally say, okay, yeah, that is definitely one piece of evidence that we have. That's one piece of evidence that could be true. But what I'm saying is, I'm not drawing. I feel personally I can't draw a conclusion and say that it is true. Just based on that, I would say that's a piece of evidence that is potentially in favour of that there's going to be a patch, or the new system's going to launch, maybe beginning of next year or something like that, which I said I thought it could launch then anyway. So yeah, maybe this is true. This could be well true, but I don't know. Well, how do I know if it's true or not? I feel like I have to just wait and see, personally, because I can't say, well, it could be true, well, now what? I don't know. We don't know until there's more. There's I'd like to see other things, if there's other things from other people, or maybe there could be more leaks, maybe from like I said, for example, the manufacturers, because at one point, because it's going to be hundreds or thousands of people involved in the production of these units, right? And people just can't keep their mouths shut, so something would leak out.
The moment it goes into mass production, Nintendo has to announce it, or else there is.
Like, it's going to get leaked. Exactly,
Yeah.
They have to. Because I remember that happened to the Switch Lite.
Yeah, that with was that 4chan or was that another Chinese word? I don't remember.
I don't remember who had it, but it was it was in production. The shell. Yeah, and when it came out, people were disbelieving it, or they didn't know. They were skeptical. Which, like I said, it's good to air skepticism, but it was just it was so innocuous that you just couldn't. Just looking at it, just well, that could be a thing. It turned out it was true. It was true. So things like that can happen. And yeah, this leak could be true, or they could be doing it for clout. Yeah,
I was never in the 2023 camp, because normally if a system is coming out this year, rumblings would start happening. I remember back when the Switch was about to come out, there were so many rumors. Some of them were true, but most of them were oh, I got an inside tip about the NX, the next system. It's gonna be this and that. If we get to the point where we start getting the unbelievable rumors, then it's like a feeling. If people just start telling stuff around, then maybe something is going on.
Yeah.
So I think this is just the beginning. Later on, if we start getting more and more
of the gossip, of the rumors, yeah, it is. There's gonna be a whole deluge.
Yeah, and most of them are gonna be fake, because
there'll be a lot of fake. Because when you look back at what the rumors were for before the Switch came out, go back and look at those rumors, and a load of them were way off.
Yeah, yeah, that was the thing. I think I was always under the impression that it was gonna come out holiday next year, because the thing about the Switch is that the Wii U stopped production before holiday 2016.
Oh, did it?
Yes, it was like summer of 2016. So they didn't care about how much they sold for the holiday that year. So that was one thing. And then I think, how to call it, the only reason they said they wanted March rather than holiday was because they wanted the games to be ready.
Right.
Rather than try to launch it in the holidays and then wait
For the
long
games.
periods of time for the next games to come out.
Yeah.
That's so my thinking is I don't know if it's gonna be March of next year because I think they still want to sell Switches for the holiday.
Right.
But at the same time, at some point they need to talk about their second half of 2023. Like if I see if they have games coming out at that time, I'll know for sure if the Switch is coming out or the new Switch. Because somebody said we are at a point that the only game that they don't have dated is Metroid Prime 4.
Oh, that's true.
Anything else is unannounced, but Metroid is like the one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, stuff that's officially announced. So yeah, you're right. Of stuff that's officially announced. I mean, that's been announced, but we don't know when the hell that's coming out, right? So, yeah, there's no date.
And I remember like years before there was like on the financials, Nintendo had like a bunch of TBA
Right.
for dates, and now we're at a point where Metroid's the only one that's really up in the air. That could be their holiday game. I don't know. Who knows what's going on with Metroid?
It could be, or they could announce like, like a new 2D Mario or something like that. With, I'm sure there'll be something, right?
If they have a 2D Mario, I'm surprised they didn't release it in April.
Yeah. I noticed they didn't have. I'm really surprised at that there was no like new Mario game ready for that. Honestly, they didn't have any like a brand new game, like anything Mario.
The only thing they have is that weird bundle they're coming out next week.
Oh yeah, did you see that?
It's a weird bundle.
I've never seen that before. It's like pick one of 3 games, right?
Pick one of 3 games, and 2 of them are Wii U games.
So it's like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario. What's the other one? Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Odyssey, and something else.
And the new Super Mario Bros. U.
Oh yeah. So
and a sticker sheet.
And a what? And a sticker sheet. Oh yeah, gotta have the sticker sheet. The thing is with that bundle, right, is because you can pick one of 3 games, like we're not gonna even be able to track that. Because
mean, Nintendo will know.
They will know. But like with Famitsu, for example, they normally like track a game that's a bundled game, right? But if you can pick one of 3 games, then how are they gonna know which one you've picked? So we're not gonna get any numbers.
Yeah, I know the eShop rankings reflected. So if
that's true.
You redeem a code, it'll actually be reflected on the rankings. But yeah, other than that, who knows?
Yeah, I do look at the you can look at the eShop and make relative like judgments on how different games have like performed digitally, and I also do look at the PSN one as well, because you can look at that for any region. I think it's easier to look at that because I think on the Switch you need to look at the actual system. I think you have to go onto it.
You need to have an account on that region, like US, you need a US account. Japan, you need a Japan account. Europe, you need a Europe account.
I think you can see maybe you can see some of the eShop charts. Or no, I think maybe it's just the one they release monthly or something. But yeah, what I do, I mean, people post it online, right? So I look at what people do. They take screenshots of it and they post it online. So that's what I look at to see, other regions and stuff. Because people look at all different regions. The PSN one, you can just go onto the website and you can change the region to look at any region. So it's
same with
really
Xbox, I think.
And Xbox, you can also do that. Their things, the data they show you is a bit different because it's like a most played and
Because of Game
you
Pass.
you can see they have a top paid list and you can sort it by Game Pass as well, so you can see that. But yeah, it's useful to look at I do look at the stores to see how these different games are doing. So for example, if a game if you know a game that's like sold well physically, but then on the PSN or on eShop it's below like other games that you know didn't do as well, then you know, oh okay, it didn't do as well digitally as it could have done, something like that. Yeah, so you can kind of like gauge it like that. Yeah, what else was is that what you wanted to say, or is there anything else?
One last thing. So their Nintendo's fiscal report is on May, I think.
Right.
And I'm hoping somebody asks if new hardware is gonna get released, because then they're gonna say two things. They're either gonna say no, we're not releasing new hardware, or we are not talking about hardware at this moment. If they say we are not talking about hardware at this moment, then that's my eyebrow raising at that moment.
You're right, because they do. So they have been asked about it like before, and they do either give one of those two answers, right? Because they can't like lie. They can't just outright just completely lie about not to the investors' question. I know people always bring on that thing about Reggie said this, that he wasn't talking to investors. He was talking to media. Yeah. Like when it comes to like their investor meetings and an investor asks them a question in the Q&A, they can't lie to them. Right? It's against the law. So yeah, you're right. They'll either say we're not releasing anything, or we can't.
Or they're
can't talk about it, or we're not talking about it at this moment. It'll be something like that, right?
Then I'm gonna start. Then the rumors are gonna actually start going out from either like internet people are just gonna start thinking like, oh, I heard from my uncle at Nintendo that it's coming out in March and blah blah blah. So, but if they say no, no new hardware, then yeah, we're on the wait mode until 2024.
When they were asked that last time at like their last investor meeting or whatever, what was their answer?
We are not planning on releasing hardware this fiscal year. I think something like that, because of there were rumors about the Switch Pro at that moment.
From the Bloomberg.
Yeah. So they asked, "Do you plan to release new Switch models this fiscal year?" And they were like, straight up, no.
Right,
no, we're not.
Right. And that fiscal year ends
March.
Right.
So
then there could be something potentially next. Yeah. Okay, no, you're right. Yeah. So we'll have. I keep moving. Sorry if you can't hear me very well. I keep moving away from the mic because I'm just like leaning back in this chair. I hope you can hear me. Okay. No, you're right, because if they do, I think they'll say the latter. Keycare. I think they'll say that thing about we're not talking about it at this time. I think they're going to end up saying that.
Yeah, at this point I'm just waiting because I think it might be 50-50. We're definitely getting by 2024. Like, if they say I think, when did they say that they were planning on 10 years? I think somebody said, "Oh, the Switch is going to last 10 years." I'm like, "Oh, they're crazy." They're crazy.
The president said that more than once.
They're crazy.
What's his name again? I can't remember. What was the name of the president? I've completely forgotten. But Furukawa.
Yeah, I think it is Furukawa.
Yeah, he said that. At least two different like Q&A things.
Yeah, man, they're crazy.
I think when they say 10 years though, they don't mean. I think it means like supporting it even after the new system comes out.
Oh,
or still producing them, like what they did with the 3DS. I don't think it means like 10 years with like nothing and then not a new system on the horizon. I think that what everyone's saying, really, what our speculation basically about it coming out next year. So like if that, so so Kike, put it this way: say they ask that question, right? It depends on the specifics of how the question's asked. If a investor asks again, if they say like how the first question was, will you be releasing hardware this new this fiscal year, which will go up until next, March or whatever next year. That'll be next year. So, but then what if they're releasing it in holiday 2024? Then they're just gonna say, oh well, no, we're not, right? Then you'll know for certain. It depends if they ask it like that though. They would have to ask specific. They would have to say it like that. Are you releasing new hardware this financial year? They might not phrase it properly or say it like that. Some of the investors, I don't know if you look at what some of the investors Q&As and some of the weirdo stuff sometimes they say. Like one person was asking for like they wanted tickets for the Nintendo World or whatever, or they wanted free games or something. Sometimes they ask weirdo stuff, man. Anyone can invest in Nintendo and then go to one of these shareholders meetings. Because there was this one person who invested like a load of money and then went there to ask about F-Zero. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes they just get weirdo questions. So it depends if that gets asked. And if it's phrased, I hope someone does ask it and phrase it like that. Maybe you need to invest, Kike. Invest. You ever spare $20,000? I think that's what you need to get into one of the meetings.
I don't think that's gonna take me like 10 years of nuts.
Oh yeah, 10 years, and then then the Switch will be out by then, and you won't need to ask it.
No, I'll ask about the next Switch at that point.
Yeah, the next Switch. Yeah.
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 But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I definitely 4chan is weird because like 95% of 4chan rumors are fake. But the thing is like there's the 5%. The 5% rumors that get everything right. We can't determine how we...
Yeah, I think because like anybody can go on there and post anonymously. Is that what it is?
Yeah, anybody can.
So anybody can start a rumor, but then people also put true things on there because I don't know. Like, I don't know why people would leak things. They, like I said, I think they do it for clout. Like, what do you get out of it? Nothing really.
That's weird. Like I remember, Let's Go leaked in 4chan.
Oh, yeah,
Nobody believed
it
until it got announced, and everybody said, "Oh shit."
Yeah, because the thing is, like, it's when stuff's on there, it's that you look at it, and you're like the way that Let's Go the rumor when that was the way it was written, it was like you look at it and you're like, well, I can see why people didn't take any notice of it.
Yeah.
Because it was just so like just matter of fact. It's going to be like this. You can connect it to Pokemon Go. It's going to be a Pikachu. Like it's just so like, well, okay, that could be true, but it doesn't. It didn't sound unbelievable. It didn't sound like so far out that it couldn't be true. If you see what I mean. The ones that people take more notice of are the ones that are more far out. Are more like, oh my gosh.
And are the more likely to be fake.
And they're more likely to be fake, exactly.
Yes, I remember Sonic Frontiers leaked.
Oh, did it?
Technically, yeah, it technically was leaked a year before the game got revealed, and nobody paid attention.
Oh, is that right?
And then the name got not data mined, but they looked at the code for like the website, and they saw the name of the game or the code name, and then somebody found out there's a 4chan leak that has that code name. And everything written in that leak turned out to be true. Like playing the game now, like that. Damn.
So there you go. It's like it's difficult to know.
Yeah.
Without hindsight, without actually then you look back and you can see it's true, because the stuff that's like I said, the stuff that's true tends to be like it's believable. It's like, oh, that could be true. It's not. It doesn't sound outrageous.
Yeah.
Right.
Like saying. Metroid Prime 4 is gonna have Metroids. No shit.
Yeah, so I mean, something like that. Like I do remember like I said about the Let's Go thing. It was like at the time, it was like, okay, well, Pokemon Go is big. It was it was just like it was really big by then. So it kind of like, oh well, that kind of makes sense that they would do that because Pokemon Go's so big, so maybe they would take opportunity or advantage of that, of the popularity of Pokemon Go. So I think that's why. I think sometimes people, like, the rumors may get reported on and stuff. But as you said, there's so many of them that pop up that, like, people don't cover them all, like media or YouTubers or whatever. It's only like the outrageous ones that like would get more clicks. That's what they look at. So yeah, like people are paying attention to this new one about the Switch on this patch. This leaker said there's going to be and for new hardware. Then they came back and they clarified what they meant, because some people people weren't entirely sure. Maybe it could have been a translation error or something like that. I don't know if they said they work at a outsourcing company or something like that. But the way they wrote it, like, I mean, that's probably not even true, because you could track that person down really easily. You'd be able to figure out who that was from what they said in there. If they genuinely was, I am a programmer at I'm outsourced. How many outsourcing companies are there with programmers in them? You know, that you'd be able to narrow it down straight away.
Unless Pokemon Company has like a secret company they're not talking about yet.
Yeah.
Like a secret.
So it could be that they have the information, but they don't have that particular role that they said, because they're trying to throw people off, otherwise you'd be able to catch them. And I'm sure that for the stuff that is true, companies do try and hunt them down. They try and find out.
Oh, the Nintendo ninjas? Yeah, the Nintendo ninjas are always watching.
Yeah, and it's true. They really do have people watching like that, all the like looking out for this stuff and they try and find out who the leakers are, and they keep looking until they figure out who they are. Apparently, that's what
Nintendo.
They said on the
Nintendo ninjas.
They said on the Kit and Krista show. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but they said that there. I've lost my train of thought now.
Well, I gotta go. Maybe, I don't know if you're talking about all the events coming out on the 9th, because apparently there's like 3 different things coming out on the 9th. There's like the level 5 thing. There's the
level
Capcom
5 thing. Oh yeah, I just saw that Capcom thing announced.
And then Mario is having, the last trailer's coming out on the 9th, so like everything is coming out on the 9th. Yeah.
The level 5 thing I definitely want to see. I think at my time zone, it might be early in the morning.
I think I might be sleeping at that point.
Are you in the States?
Yeah. Eastern Standard.
Oh, you're on the Eastern. So I think it's going to be like 6 a.m. your time. I think it's like 6 a.m. Yeah, because I know that it's going to be at 3 a.m. West Coast time zone. It's like 3 a.m. So
yeah. Genki's the only one. It's going to be bright and early.
So yeah, I think it's like morning for me, or like lunchtime or whatever, or early afternoon maybe. So I think I will be able to watch it. But you're right, there's that, and what was the Capcom thing? Because I saw like a tweet about it, and
they're like more information about the games they already announced. So Resident Evil, the Mega Man Collection, the Dinosaur game.
Oh, Exo Primal.
Yeah,
oh, no,
that
looks kind of trash, but anyway.
There's one other I forget, but it's I think Monster Hunter.
Resident Evil.
Monster Hunter.
Oh, Monster Hunter. Yeah.
It was basically just new information.
Oh, it's just new information. Okay, so it's not new game announcements. It's just like, DLC or whatever.
I think Street Fighter is gonna have new information, but they already announced all the characters, so I don't know what they're gonna.
Oh yeah, sorry, Street Fighter as well. I forgot about Street Fighter. Oh, did they announce the characters? Okay. So
all the base, they said it's 19 on when the game comes out, and we already have the 19.
Oh, okay. I guess then they'll put like the DLC characters in.
I mean, we do have the leak, and we do know there's more characters.
Okay, I heard there was a leak, but I haven't seen it, so I didn't. Well, I
The
didn't even
leak had more than
realize it had more.
yeah, the leak had more than 19 characters, so
How
some
did
of them are
How did they
definitely.
get that info?
Who the hell knows? But they leaked the heck out of that game.
Where did it come from? Like,
I don't know.
it wasn't like
Somebody has to be somebody from the art team because that's how it leaked. It like we got the artwork for
okay, it was art.
artwork for all the characters and most of the stages and like.
But see, and at that point, so if the thing is, if it was someone from the art team, it wouldn't be really easy from Capcom to figure who that out who that is, because you know who's on the art team.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe it's maybe it's not the art team, or maybe it's more like PR materials, and it's like someone from the PR team.
Yeah, the moment it goes to PR, then more people are gonna see it, and then more people are gonna see it because PR has to talk to like their third party like partners for like commercials and shit.
Right.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. So they I don't know, man. I know that they definitely do try to find these leakers. Because do you remember that person called the Snitch who was leaking all that stuff, and people figured out he's probably a YouTube employee or something like that, because he was definitely getting information from YouTube videos, from like private YouTube videos. That's definitely how they were getting it.
Yeah, I think the one company we always expect leaks is like Ubisoft, because Ubisoft's games always leak. They always leak.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, like back in the day, we knew about every Assassin's Creed before, like a year before it came out, and I think there was 1 year where Ubisoft was like, "Yeah, the game's real. We don't have anything. Stay tuned, but it's real."
Okay, do you remember last year when Assassin's Creed like Red or whatever it was, and all that leaked, and then the person who leaked it, like he accidentally exposed himself.
Yeah, it was a YouTuber.
It was a YouTuber
who got invited and made a burner account.
Yeah, he made another account, and then he I think he replied. He didn't realize that he didn't switch accounts or something, right? To his this burner account they was using to leak stuff. And he replied to a comment with his regular account, and then people realized that he had been leaking. Yeah, you're right. He got invited to like an event, or that's how he knew that stuff. But it's like, and then he kind of ruined everything, right? But this is what I'm saying to you, Kike. Why would somebody do that? Like, he was doing it from an anonymous account. Nobody knew it was him. Why do people do that? It's like for some clout thing. They think they're getting clout or something. What are they getting out of it? Because they're not making money out of it or anything.
Yeah, I know. Back in the 3DS games, there was a reviewer for a 3DS game that basically dumped the game online.
Oh, really?
And basically, after that point, every reviewer said, "Man, Nintendo's a lot more strict about review codes."
Oh, is that what happened? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they leaked the game, like the game itself.
The whole game.
They went online, they dumped it, and then if you had an emulator, you could play it.
So, but here's the thing, right?
Before it came out,
they knew who they gave those codes to, so you could narrow down who it was easily.
I think they did. I think
they
found
did.
out who it was, but after that point, they were a lot. People were saying they're a lot more stricter about who gets a code.
Yeah. They were stricter about the codes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. If I was getting like review codes and stuff like that, I personally wouldn't like leak it like that.
Yeah.
Because you've got to sign NDAs and things like that, and they can sue you.
No. We haven't. We haven't heard about. I think we never heard from that guy ever since. I think.
What, that person who did it? Oh, wasn't that somebody from? Weren't they from some like website that covered Nintendo games, and it was like a Spanish website or something like that, and they were blacklisted.
Yeah. I don't remember the name, but it was like a Nintendo website, and we haven't heard from them ever since.
Right? Yeah. They dumped it, and I think they basically they just get blacklisted. Like, no, you never get anything again. And then it makes other companies not want to work with them as well. Because like, well, if you did it to that company, you could do it to us as well.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing happens. But yeah, I think I do. I vaguely remember that. I vaguely remember some of it.
Yeah, leaks are leaks.
Yeah, the leaks are insane. And then we had the Tears of the Kingdom art book.
That was weird. Like, wow. Like, dang, somebody
The
went
whole
to
book.
warehousing.
Yeah, because obviously they must have produced them. I'm like, well, why would you do that, man? Even if I had the art book, I wouldn't want to just spoil everybody like that. I don't know. I do know that the game will leak like a week or so before it comes out, because every Nintendo game does. They all get dumped online, so that's gonna be fun of trying to avoid all the spoilers before that. I'm probably gonna peace out from the internet like that week. I'll just be gone. See ya in a couple of weeks. I honestly might have to do that, because I am not gonna have people like spoiling me. It's annoying. Yeah.
So weird. Okay. I need to go, but
no worries. Thanks a lot for coming through.
Yeah. No worries. Have a happy day.
Yeah. You too, Kika. Okay, I'm gonna finish off the comments and then we're gonna end the show. So where did I get to? 1 second. Okay, so I think it's here. Game Killer 64. I had high hopes for the Luminous engine, kind of like Capcom and the RE engine. Unfortunately, didn't work out. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't know if they're going to use that engine again. We do know that Final Fantasy 16 wasn't made using that engine, because like they were asked about actually what engine it was, and they wouldn't say. If you watch that Skill Up video, he asked, and they wouldn't say. It's not Luminous, and it's not Unreal Engine 4. Mousy, hi Mousy. Mousy says, oh no, they sold Kingdom Hearts at full price when they ported it. Oh, when do you mean when they ported it from Epic to Steam? Wasn't it on Epic first, like it was a timed exclusive or something like that? And then they put it on Steam at full price. Is that what you're referring to? I think that's what Mousy means. Because it released on PlayStation and Xbox at the same time. So I'm guessing you're talking about the PC port. Yeah, they did put it at full price, and I don't know why they took those Epic Store exclusivity things, because they did it for Final Fantasy 7 as well. Apparently that port wasn't good at release. Steady Flow. I think they merged because of the new president with his metaverse and NFT and blockchain. Do you mean Luminous? But what would that have to do with? What does NFTs have to do with Luminous and needing it to merge? Yeah, basically, as I said before, Luminous Productions was spun off into its own thing because they wanted that to be a premier studio for making new AAA IPs, right? So that's what Forspoken, obviously, what they did, and the fact that now that they've merged it into the rest of the larger company means that they won't be working on new AAA IP anymore. They'll be helping with other stuff. So basically that tells you that the plan they had for that didn't work out. It's not to do with this NFTs and blockchain. Roche says, my main question is if the new president will be good, since his history feels like he has no gaming experience in the corporate gaming industry. Do we know about his experience, Roche? Let me look at that article. I have to use Google Translate. Does it say? I'm sure it talks about him on here. Okay, here it says. Takashi Kiryu joined Square Enix Holdings in 2020. After working as a company's group manager, promotion. Oh my god, this is Google Translate, right? Group Management Promotion Manager and Chief Strategy Officer. He has been in charge of Square Enix Holdings Group financial strategy since July 2020. Okay, this is talking about him being in Final Fantasy. Yeah, it just says new position, representative director and president, former position director. Biography of the new representative director, Takashi Kiryu, born June 20th, 1975. It doesn't really say a lot. June 2020, General Manager of Group Management Promotion. April 2021, Chief Management Strategy Officer of the company. Group Corporate Planning and Public Relations, current position. Executive Officer of Square Enix Co. Limited, current position. January 2020. Chairman of Square Enix China Co. Limited, our group company in China, current position. May 2022, Director of Square Enix Co. Limited, current position. June 2022, Director of the company, current position. Yeah, okay, so this is a Google Translate thing. So obviously that was the current position at that time, right? It's not now. Number of shares held, 1,471. Okay, I'll have to look up and see what are Square Enix shares worth. I don't know. What are the shares worth? Scheduled date of change. Scheduled to be officially decided upon approval at the 43rd Ordinary General Meeting of Shareholders scheduled to be held in June 2023, and the Board of Directors meetings thereafter. So, yeah, I don't know why it repeats the same thing. Oh, due to typographical errors, we corrected the relevance. Okay, so they had a typo in there. Yeah, I don't know, mate. Unless I can find him on LinkedIn. I don't know. The thing is, like the executives don't often of these game companies don't often have gaming experience. Look at Reggie Fils-Aimé. Like he didn't have gaming experience really. Look at the current president of Nintendo. He's just like a businessman. He doesn't have like a lot of gaming experience. Okay, so here's his LinkedIn. Oh no, this isn't the same guy. Is this the same guy? This guy looks young. Let's see, this guy was born in 1970. This can't be him. What? Ain't no way he's born in 1970. They're saying it's this guy. No. That guy doesn't look that young. There ain't no way. Wait, is he a picture of him on here? Ain't no way. There's no picture. He was born in 1970. That's not the same guy. What's happening here? It says Square Enix Holding, member of the board, Square Enix Holding, executive corp. Maybe there's more than one guy with the same name. Hold on. Yeah, look here, there's two profiles. Oh no, this is a completely different company. This is the only result that comes up for Takashi Kiryu's Square Enix Holdings. This has got to be this guy. That is some photoshopped ass picture. That is not him. That is a photoshopped picture. That he's been airbrushed into an inch of his life in that picture. There ain't no way. But yeah, this is. I say so before Square Enix. This is where he was. General manager at Dentsu. I don't know what this company is. Dentsu, what is it? Dentsu Japan Advertising Services. So he was at an advertising company prior to Square Enix. This is an advertising company. Before that, he was on the MIT Sloan Fellows MBA program at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He was at management at MIT program. Looks like Or maybe he did that whilst he was at Dentsu, because look, it says he was a director at Dentsu. Isn't this the same company? Isn't this the same company? What is this? Oh, we can't see that page. J2 Blue! J2 Blue! How this man born in 1970? Look at the picture of this man. Oh no, I can't. Look at this guy. I can't make it bigger. Can I make it bigger? Hang on. Can I make it bigger? Look at this guy. This guy was not born in 1970. It's an airbrush out picture. He looks like 30 years old. Wouldn't he'd be like 50. How can that be that guy? This man had a full head of hair. Look how young he looks. How can that be that guy? But I can't see any other people with that name that are working at Square Enix. What the hell? How he look so young? He's made a deal with the devil. Let me see images. That is the only image that comes up. Look. This guy. Look at this. Look how young he looks. It says he's the chief strategy officer. Isn't that the same dude? How does man look so young? Hang on, let me see this. Chief strategy officer. Did they say that's what he was? Oh, I guess this translation is really weird. Yes, look. This is the same blasted guy. This is him. This is him. So he'd be like 53. He would have to be 53 if he's born in 1970. Am I going crazy? Day two, am I going crazy? Does man look 50? Where's it gone? Does man look 50 to you? This airbrushed out picture, I can't show it big. Look at this. J2 says, maybe it's a younger picture of him, lol. There's a picture of him standing next to Matsuda. Where's that picture? Oh, is it this? That's not the same dude! Okay, well either I've got the wrong LinkedIn profile, or he just put a model there for him. That is not the same guy. Look at this picture. That is not the same as this guy here. That is not that guy. Ain't no way. Oh no, wait, here, look. No, that's not that guy. This is him. Yes, it's this guy. This is him. This is him at the meeting yesterday. It is him. Look. Look. Oh no, you're right. Here's the picture. Is what he's talking about? Day 2. That is the same guy. How he look that young? Yo, what this man using? Tell me what your face cream is. Yeah, no, that is him. He just looks young. It's actually him. It's the same dude. Look how old Matsuda looks. When was he born? Does it say when he was born? I'm probably gonna say when he was born. He's old. Well, maybe it doesn't say when he was born. But yeah, he gone. I was like, wasn't it just like last week when I was saying get rid of Matsuda, fire him, get rid of him. I have been on, not even like I've just been saying that. I've been saying that for months that they need to get rid of him. J2 says, yeah, he looks young, a little bit older than, yeah, so he doesn't look quite as young as in that picture, right? That is some airbrushed out picture. Look at this. It's been airbrushed into his life. Look at this. Yeah, so he doesn't look quite that young, but when you look at, where's that picture gonna go? This is him. It is legit that dude. It's him. He just looks young. He's 50. He's got to be 53. He's 53. Does that man look 53? He does not look 53. Isn't that kind of wild? Let me finish some of these comments. Yeah, so the answer to your question, Roche, he does not have, like, experience in the corporate gaming industry. Because if we look, he was working for, what was it again? He was working for an advertising company. It's the only stuff I can see on here. He works for an advertising company. He was a manager, and he was a director and then a manager, and he did a management program at MIT. That's the only stuff I'm seeing on here. So no, he doesn't. He does not have gaming experience. I don't have. It says you need to join to see the full profile. I guess that's not his entire career. He must have done other stuff. I don't know if that's just because of like I'm not signed in that I can't see the rest of it. I don't have a LinkedIn account, so I can't do that. But yeah, that's that guy. I go, this guy looks so young. Let's see. How did I get to in these comments? Sorry about this. Hang on. I'm looking at because I'm trying to do this thing where I'm like looking on my phone. Square Enix don't speak PR twist. The budget was not that big for Forspoken. They had a big budget for it. They did spend a lot of money on that. Yeah, they might have reused assets in it, but doesn't mean the budget wasn't big, because you need to look at the budget for the game and the marketing budget and think about how long that game was in development. It was like 5+ years, right? And then think about how many developers they had on it, and all those developers had to be paid, for all those years, and then you can just add all that up and then look at how much marketing they did for it. It was not a cheap game, Steady Flow. I'm not saying they made a loss on it. They probably did break even on it, but they would have had their own expectation of what they wanted that game to perform for their investment they had made, if you see what I mean. So the game may break even, or it may even make a profit, but that might not be what they wanted it to make. Like I said, they probably, I'm just speculating here, they probably wanted this game to sell like 5 million. They was probably thinking about that sort of number, right? Rose says the sad thing is that some of the flops like Neo could have performed better with marketing. Do you remember, Roche, that the year that Near the World's End review came out, which I think was 2020? Was it 2020? It was the year where there was sort of an E3, but it wasn't like a regular physical E3, I think, because of the pandemic. Square Enix had a they called it like a Square Enix Presents, so it's like their like presentation for E3, right? And if you remember that year, it was like 20 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy. And then they had like the Pixel, because this is when they announced the Pixel remasters, which flashed up for a second, and then it said, and people were like, yes! And then it said PC and mobile, and people were like, oh. It was like that meme where the guy is like fist pumping, and then they're like, their faces are straight in the next one. It was like that. It was like that when people saw that announcement. And second of that, and the Near the World's End review was coming out after that. It was going to be out in like July or August or whatever it was, right? They did not show it in that. It would have cost them nothing to include that in their presentation that they were doing. All they had to do was edit it into that presentation slot that they had. And they didn't do it. They did not show Near the World's End review, a game that was about to come out, in their E3 presentation that year. It was like 20 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy, which after the game came out, people really liked the game, but it kind of underperformed, and we know what happened to those studios, right? Game Killer says, even if Forspoken was an Amazon top selling list, the issue was Square's expectations. Yeah, exactly. What expectations they had for it, which we don't know the expectations, but we know what we have a history of Square Enix saying that certain games did not meet their expectations, right? Game Killer says, I'm so behind in these comments. I noticed you said some of this stuff when Genki was still here. Game Killer says, I feel where Yoshi P is coming from. When I hear JRPG, I get excited because it tends to be a game I have interested in. Unfortunately, people do use that term to belittle it. I think Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was hit negatively from blindly being called a JRPG or an anime game. In that way, that made people just overlook it or not take it seriously. Yeah, I think like that other people. There's another thing people say like anime game or they anime trash. That I remember that. Yeah, that can happen. And I think that's kind of where Yoshipi's coming from. I think he doesn't know. Like I said, I did tweet this out. There's like a really racist term that was used. Like that I remember. I don't think he knows about that one. Actually don't think he knows. But there was like a racist term that was used as well. Because I remember people saying it, and then it kind of stopped around 2017 time when I tweeted this out before that like there was just like back-to-back bangers that came. I don't know, looking at my notifications for not that. There was like back-to-back bangers that came out. How do I look at? Sorry, no, I'm trying to get my Oh no, here it is. I tweeted this out. Where did I tweet this out? I need to go back up here. Yeah, so I said this. It was like, I feel like, this is what I said. There's been some revisionist history of what it was like before the Japanese video game resurgence of 2017. That's just what I've called it. Game of the Year quality Japanese games like Persona 5, Nier Automata, Super Mario Odyssey released back to back that year. And this argument about Japanese games sucking went away. Yeah, people stopped saying it after that. So I suppose OJ's not 50. Please don't tell me you believe that. Yeah, I see you've got a laughing emoji. He's not. He's like 36 or 37. He's younger than me. I'm giving away my age. Well, whatever. He's young. I know for a fact he's younger than me. Yeah. So I've got a screenshot here of what the Game of the Year nominations were that year and best role playing game. So you had. Do you remember when PUBG was nominated for Game of the Year? Do you remember that? Yes, PUBG was nominated for Game of the Year. It was. Because it was big at one point, right? But it's just a janky piece of crap. Anyway, so yeah, Breath of the Wild won. We had Super Mario Odyssey, yeah, PUBG, Persona 5 and Horizon Zero Dawn was what was nominated that year. Best role-playing game winner was Persona 5. The other nominees were South Park, The Fractured But Whole, Final Fantasy 15, Divinity Original Sin 2 and Nier Automata. So yeah, OJ's not 53. He is not 53. Do you want to look at these clips that I have of Phil Fish? Sorry, that's difficult to say. Phil Fish, who's a developer of what's that indie game? That indie game that went really big and they made a film about it. So this OJ had this in his video, but I cut up some other clips of like the full thing. Do you want me to play this? Might as well. I wonder if you can hear it. You can see this, right? Can you hear this if I play it?
For excellent movies.
Hang on. Tell me if you can hear this.
And I'm a free.
It's a bit low, isn't it? Let me see if I can. Sorry, 1 sec. Let me boost the audio. Right. Tell me if you can hear this. Are you still there, J2? Tell me if you can hear this. So this was asked by this developer, right? His name is Makoto. Where are we here? Makoto Goto, right? It was his first GDC, and I read this, I found this on Kotaku. It was his first GDC, and he had paid his own way from Tokyo. It was also his first trip by himself, right? Which is kind of heartbreaking when you see what happens in the thing, right? And don't forget, he's asking this question in it's not his native language, you know. So tell me if you can hear this anyway. I don't know.
Thank you for excellent movies.
Seems like low to me.
I'm a freelance game programmer.
Can you hear it?
And in this movie, you were inspired from Super Mario and Metroid and Rockman. I am so proud of it, and as a Japanese. And my question is, what could you tell me what kind of about recently Japanese? What do you think about the recently Japanese game?
Is it what is about Japanese games that inspired us?
Recent.
Oh, recent
I'm sorry.
They suck. I'm sorry. Like, you guys need to get with the times and make better interfaces and like update your technology. We're totally kicking your ass. Back then, you guys were the king of the world, but your time has passed. I'm so sorry.
Did you look at his face? Look at what you did, Phil.
So yeah, hopefully you could hear that. He's I'm sorry, he's an a-hole for saying that. This was in GDC 2012, right? So it's just like, this guy's come up there and said, "Oh, you was inspired by these games, and I'm so proud of that and everything. How do you feel about recent Japanese games?" And they're like, "Oh, well, you suck. Your games suck." And and this is like, this was 2012, GDC 2012. He was there they was talking about the movie. I'm glad you don't believe that, J. J2, did you hear that clip I just played? I'm glad you don't believe it. And then, also on the panel was Jonathan Blow, who was known for Braid and the Witness. So this is what he had to say. This is the same thing.
I mean, I don't like Japanese games either. I don't like Japanese games either. The thing that I don't like about them, all the modern ones that I've played, except, like Dark Souls and Demon Souls and stuff, is you sit down and the game treats you like an idiot, right? Like, you have to click through like 700 little boxes telling you how to do everything. There's this idea, so Western game designers, and I'm only familiar with the game design dialogue in the West, but old school games like adventure games had all this random stuff where you had to read the designer's mind, right? And at some point we understood, things have to kind of make sense for the player to expect to get through them, right? So we have to train people on our game mechanics, and then the rest of the game can be expanded out from that initial training, right? I feel like Japanese games take that too far, and Japanese games feel like it's illegal to ever let the player do anything that has not explicitly been shown to the player in painstaking detail earlier in the game. And what that does is it kills the joy of discovery. And that's the thing that I really value about games, is when you figure something out that you haven't been shown, right? And when you show the player everything, you're turning it into an exercise, and it's an exercise that's kind of insulting, because of course I can follow the exercise, you told me what to do, right? And then they make me click through so much bad dialogue. I mean, Western game dialogue is terrible also, but at least we hit spacebar and we can like skip the whole cutscene or whatever. But when they come in and make you hit A, yeah. Okay, cutting it off there. But a more
nice
politic way of saying what Phil was saying.
I mean, I think everybody would like to go back to games that you just pop in and you start playing and it's an adventure, like how, I mean, that's all of my childhood memories.
I think that Zelda games should just start with a prompt that says, "Have you played a Zelda game since 1996?" And then you can skip the first 45 minutes to 2 or 3 hours.
Now, of course, before this goes up on blogs and stuff, right? There are exceptions, right? There are Japanese games that are different from that. But the trend, just like the trend in America is like, soldier looking down a gun sight, shooting dudes. It's the same feeling.
Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, Street Fighter 4 is pretty good. Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully you could hear that clip okay. This is part of the same video that I showed before. It's still in response to the same guy. Now, what I said, there was some. They made some good points. There were some points in there like, okay, they don't like it. The games were handholdy, which is fair enough criticism, but they didn't really necessarily need to say it in that way. And then their comment about Zelda, because this is in 2012, don't forget. So Skyward Sword released in 2011, right? Breath of the Wild would have been like early development at this time. So their comments about Zelda were really interesting. So this is what Phil Fish had to say about Zelda in 2012, before Breath of the Wild had come out, right? So let's look at
that.
this.
But I think the Zelda comparison is really good. If you look at the first Zelda and the latest Zelda, the first Zelda it just drops you into that world. and it's a completely open, non-linear world, and it's dangerous and it's hard, and you have to like learn from your mistakes and figure things out. And there are these secrets, and the secrets are not obvious at all, which makes them secret and interesting. And then you play the latest Zelda, and it's the most like, it's just the straight corridor. It's just holding your hand the whole time. All the secrets have like an arrow pointing at them. It's just like, you can break this wall with a bomb because there's a little crack, and there's all the surprise and magic and like danger and mystery is just gone completely because of this obsession with like tutorials and making sure that the player knows about everything. Like it kills it for me.
But what's awesome about that is it's really easy to convince yourself that that's good game design, right? Like, of course we have to put an indication.
You have to clearly communicate things to the player.
It's like you have to communicate affordances, right? So therefore, all the blow-upable walls have cracks on them, right? And it's just being logical about game design is too easy to take too far, and then you have nothing. You have a joyless husk, right?
Joyless husk.
Yeah, let's just leave it a joyless husk.
Japanese games are a joyless husk.
So I'm going to say if you're not in line right now for a question.
So yeah, the comment at the end, Japanese games are a joyless husk. So that's kind of how people felt back then, or they're reflective of how some people felt, I should say. I do think that the comments that they made about Zelda at that time was valid criticisms, that it's like it had become very formulaic and stuff, and then literally we said about the first Zelda drops you into that world and it's completely open and you just go on explore and all of that. That's literally what Breath of the Wild was. That's literally what they did. That's what I said. I don't agree with their use of language, but Fish and Blow are right to an extent. Zelda had gotten formulaic, which is why Nintendo felt the need to shake things up so much with Breath of the Wild. So they literally, everything he's describing is literally what they did with Breath of the Wild. So yeah, there's valid criticisms in there, but like he didn't need to say what he said, like Japanese games suck. So that guy's face, who was like, oh, I'm so proud and all of that. And I read the Kotaku blog after like, so this guy Makoto Goto, when Phil Fish said suck, he didn't know what it meant. He didn't know what it meant in that sense. But he like read the room or read the air or whatever, and he realized what it was bad, what he said, but he hadn't heard that slang before. So that's what it said. Yeah. OJ's not 53. Oh my god. Let's see. I'm gonna finish these comments and I'm gonna finish because we are like on hardcore overtime right now. GameKiller64. If Nintendo doesn't reveal another AAA first-party game at the end of the year and focus on their DLC during the June Direct, I think the Super Switch won't come out until spring 2024. I'm laughing because you keep calling it the Super. You keep saying Super Switch. Like you're really fixated on that name, yeah. Maybe it will be Super Switch. That'd be funny if it was. So yeah, it feels like they kind of are focusing on this DLC. There's a whole lot of DLC coming out this year. Like the next, I guess you're thinking of like a Mario Kart or a Mario Odyssey 2 or something like that, right? That would go along with like new hardware. So yeah, nothing's been announced. Like we're assuming they're having a June Direct, or we think there will be something around that time. But they're not going to E3, so it's not going to be like a big Direct because their big game would have had just released in May, so they're not going to do like a big thing in June. So honestly, GameKiller, I don't know what they're going to do. GameKiller also says Nintendo has a decent buffer with all the DLC they have for the remainder of the year. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of DLC for like their major games, including like Mario Kart. There's more of those what do you call it? The thingy packs. And then JT Bruce just laughing at it. It's that guy! It's this guy! Look! Where'd he go? It's this guy! Look how young he looks! JT Blue Engaged. Funny how that guy hasn't made a game in years. Yeah. Phil Fish, apparently he left the industry. There was some... Like, somebody maybe can fill me in. There was some controversy. With basically, I think someone said tweeted to me that there was an article or some journalist or something criticised him, but then he just couldn't take the heat and he left the industry. That's what somebody said. I don't know what the full thing is. That would be ironic because it means like he can dish it out, but he can't take it. Somebody said that he sucked. That's what somebody said to me. That some journalist said that he sucked. But I don't know if it was that or it was something else. I don't know. But he doesn't make games anymore. And then what has that other guy? I don't know what he's doing. But Jonathan Blow. JT Blue and Cage. His comics are so ironic considering a lot of Western games are just as handholdy. Now, yeah, it's not. That's definitely not exclusive to Japanese games. There's a lot of games that are like that. To be honest with you. But like I said, I do think they made a good point about the Zelda games were formulaic up until like they had gotten like that basically, and at the time there were criticisms of Skyward Sword because they made that game for the Wii, so there was a lot of like it wasn't as open or whatever, right? Because they was expecting people to be playing it with a Wiimote. JT Blue Engage, Phil Fish literally made one game and left. Yeah, he made that one game. So he made that one game. They made a movie about that game, which is what that panel's about that I showed you. And that's why that guy was there, the Japanese game developer. And he made that one game and he never made another game. That's wild. So I heard that game was a big hit. In fact, I think I bought that game. I have it. But I haven't played it. I got it free on like Epic Games Store, but I think I might have it on Switch as well. You know how it is. You buy games, you can't remember what you got, where it is, and what you can't remember. You know how it is. Don't stop judging me, J2. I know you're judging me. I'm joking. Yeah. So this is a new president. This new president, Takashi Kiryu, please like sort out Matsuda's mess. He's made such a mess of everything, man. Like really, I really hope so. And we had earlier there was a tweet from Kofi, friend of the show, he's been on here before. He tweeted out, oh, maybe there's more hope for a Western release for Dragon Quest X. I'm not sure if he meant the offline one or I guess he meant the offline one because there's Dragon Quest X offline. Which, like, Square Enix, they're low-key shady, man, because they said in 2018 that if there was an offline if they ever made an offline version of it, because they don't want to release the MMO, as I understand that they might not get enough players for Dragon Quest MMO in the West, they said they were going to release it, and they didn't. Come on, man, what is that about? They said they were going to release it. They said that. There was I'm going to look for it now, but there was an article that said that. J2 says, nah, I feel you. I've bought games twice that I didn't know. Oh, God, I've done that as well. Well, I did it with, you know that game for the 3DS that, like, flopped hard? Codename Steam. Do you remember that game that's, like, flopped? Well, if you look on eBay or wherever, you can get that game for, like, £2. £2 would be like $3. I don't know if you're in the States, J2, but like $3 or something. It's like that cheap. And one time I bought it, I was like, oh, that's so cheap. Let me just get it because it's so cheap, right? I didn't realise I did it. I got 2 copies too. I got 2 brand new copies of like Codename Steam because it was so. But that was cheap though. That was cheap, and I didn't know I had it, and I still haven't played it. I've got 3DS games that I want to play, and actually, like, I need to go through and look at, like, some of the DLC for some of the... Because the DLC, you're not going to be able to buy DLC for games either. Once they shut down their stores. So I'm going to have to go through, like, load up some eShop credit and, like, get some... I got a few, but I need to get more. So, yeah, that's about it for the show. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Thank you, Keycast. Vinnie Mac, I'm sorry you couldn't come on. I don't know what happened. If there's something that I can help you with a technical issue, please drop me a DM. You can DM me on Discord. So I don't know what happened, but if there's some issue or something I can help you with, please DM me, and I'll try to get you on next week. Hopefully we won't have that same. I really don't know what happened. I don't know why we couldn't hear you. I know it has happened with other people before, but like normally like taking them out of the room and putting them back in just fixes it. So I really don't know what happened. So sorry about that. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Kike. And thank you to Genki, who is now having sweet dreams. So I always forget I've got this end thing. Oh my gosh, I need to use the ending stream thing. The ending. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye bye.